Medical disclaimer. The content of this video is not intended to be a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis or treatment. Always seek the advice of your physician or other qualified health provider with any questions you may have regarding medical condition, and always get proper treatment for serious medical conditions. Legal disclaimer. Use legal measures only to combat the virus and cooperate with government officials, first responders and healthcare workers to make the coronavirus a thing of the past and create a perfect society ASAP. Use common sense, logic and help your fellow humans if necessary, also to lower the risk of being vaccinated mandatorily ourselves and to end the pandemic as soon as possible. The objective of my videos is not to slander people nor to incite or trigger people, but to do the opposite, exposing it when people are wrongly accused, and to create universal peace, world peace or just peace on earth. People are innocent till proven guilty in the court of law. One who knows of evidence must testify, not to convict anyone without a fair trial. Greetings, spear beings, greetings, supreme being. We are all the human race. Our common enemy is death. Welcome on Perfect Society. I'm Ulrich B.C. Hoffman, and you are watching the broadcast. New study supposedly shows SARS-CoV-2 is a bioweapon. RaTG13. Undeniable evidence SARS-CoV-2 man-made. And of course that would be very important to know whether it is a bioweapon. It could indicate it's tied to a population reduction plan to reduce the global population to 500 million, which they call sustainability, and some think that's in violation of the Genocide Convention, and others think that 500 million is still not sustainable, that 100 million is sustainable. And also, if they live longer lives, then you'd have to reduce that number of 100 million as well. And that video is also available on YouTube. But this is about the new studies that I found. And so that's important, because if it is a bioweapon, then it's possible they have the antidote. It's part of a population reduction plan, so then they will not die from these vaccines, but all other people that have not received the antidote will, basically. And that is also tied to the plan of Global 2000s. Let's see if I can find that fast. That's this one. And it's relevant. Several top secret recommendations were made by Dr. Aurelio Pecci of the Club of Rome. He advocated that a plague be introduced that would have the same effect as the famous Black Death of history. The chief recommendation was to develop a microbe which would attack the autoimmune system and thus render the development of a vaccine impossible. The orders, and some people think that this is an antibody-dependent virus. This is the virus that they had planned back then. The orders were given to develop the microbe and to develop a prophylactic and a cure. The microbe would be used against the general population and would be introduced by vaccine. The prophylactic was to be used by the ruling elite. The cure will be administered to the survivors when it is decided that enough people have died. The cure will be announced as newly developed when in fact it has existed from the beginning. This plan is a part of Global 2000. The prophylactic and the cure are suppressed from the book Something in This Book is True by Bob Frissell, page 51. Okay, so let's get to the studies. But there may be other reasons it's important to find out whether this is a bioweapon or not. The studies, okay, here on nerdhaspower.weebly.com we can find the documents, the new studies, the scientific evidence and logic behind the claim that the Wuhan coronavirus is man-made. 15th of March 2020. I'll get to this later, the graphic. RaTG13, the undeniable evidence that the Wuhan coronavirus is man-made. And I plan to read this, the whole articles and also the comments. So let's start with this one. So these are new studies. Oh yeah, so it's not the old study. Let's see if I have that open. Another point was phylogenetic analysis also indicates that a virus from Rhinophilus affinis collected in Yunnan province and designated RaTG13 has a 96% resemblance to SARS-CoV-2. The pangolin coronavirus has up to 92% resemblance to SARS-CoV-2. And that's the Wiki Severe Acute Respiratory Syndrome Coronavirus 2 article. But let's start reading first. So another point is that if we Google this, then we find all kinds of people denying that it's a bioweapon. Experts know the new coronavirus is not a bioweapon. The bulletin.org, misinformation related to the COVID-19 pandemic, the Chinese cover up a bioweapon or effects of 5G, bat virus bioweapon, what the science says about COVID-19 update, etc. So these are the first search results when I Google SARS-CoV-2 bioweapon. So there are more people that are trying to deny that it's a bioweapon. Here, Forbes.com, no, COVID-19 coronavirus was not bioengineered. Well, I think it's comparable to the new study that shows that there is a correlation between 5G and the coronavirus, supposedly. Which you all will have to judge for yourselves, of course. I have no opinion yet, so we can wonder, does this study show any conclusive evidence, and what is the best evidence, according to the writer, that proves that the SARS-CoV-2 virus is a bioweapon or genetically or an engineered virus, basically. Or genetically engineered, perhaps. What is the best evidence?
Scientific evidence and logic behind the claim that the Wuhan coronavirus is man-made. March 15, 2020. 135 comments. There has been much controversy regarding the origin of the Wuhan coronavirus. It appears that both possibilities, naturally occurring or man-made, are legitimate enough to be debated fully. However, although voices on social media are equally strong from both sides, when it comes to written pieces, there is a predominance of scientific literature and other forms of writing that were produced to disapprove the conspiracy theory. In contrast, not nearly as much literature or other forms of substantial writing have been put out to describe or argue for the other possibility: this virus is man-made. My goal here is to use scientific evidence and logical thinking to evaluate, and legitimate, the possibility that the Wuhan coronavirus, 2019 nCoV, SARS-CoV-2, etc., is of non-natural origin. Importantly, I will base my reasoning on solid, credible evidence. I will exclude any unqualified evidence that may have been thrown in by the Chinese Communist Party, CCP, with an intention to disturb the investigation and thereby cover up the truth. My role or perspective here can be considered as a combination of a scientific reviewer, a detective, and a judge on a criminal trial. Why are people suspicious of the origin of the Wuhan coronavirus? This has a lot to do with how the sequence of this virus, in other words, its genome, compares with those of related coronaviruses. When comparing sequences, one can compare either gene sequences or protein sequences. For viruses, however, this makes almost no difference as the whole genome of a virus is practically translated into proteins. In fact, A virus typically produces a single polyprotein by translating its entire genome and then cuts this long polyprotein at specific places to produce a set of particular proteins for specific use. Here, we will compare different viruses only on their protein sequences. By doing such a comparison, one can see that the Wuhan coronavirus is about 86% identical to the SARS coronavirus, which caused a pandemic back in 2003. This level of sequence identity basically says that the Wuhan coronavirus could not have come from SARS, something the field agrees unanimously. At the same time, the Wuhan coronavirus is strangely similar to two bad coronaviruses, ZC45 and ZXC21. Overall, the sequence of either of the two bad coronaviruses is 95% identical to the Wuhan coronavirus. In fact, for most part of the genome, such level of identity is maintained or even surpassed. The E protein, in particular, is 100% identical. The nucleocapsid is 94% identical. The membrane protein is 98.6% identical. The S2 portion, second half, of the spike protein is 95% identical. However, when it comes to the S1 portion, first half, of the spike protein, the sequence identity suddenly drops to 69%. This pattern of sequence conservation, between either of the closely related bat coronaviruses and the Wuhan coronavirus, is extremely rare and strange. This is extremely rare because natural evolution typically takes place when changes, mutations, occur randomly across the whole genome. You would then expect the rate of mutation being more or less the same for all parts of the genome. Could other forms of evolution lead to such a strange pattern of sequence identity? Yes, there is one evolutionary event that could lead to drastic changes in only one part of the genome. It is what is called recombination. We would defer to the next section to explain why recombination is also practically impossible in this case. For now, let's fix our eyes on the part that is seeing this sudden drop of sequence identity, the S1 portion of the spike protein. Picture figure 1. Coronavirus particle with spike proteins, red, decorating its surface. Image from the C2C website, not a photo of the real virus, but a model generated based on scientific knowledge. Spike proteins are the protrusions that you see on the outside of the virus particle, figure 1. They are literally responsible for the name corona as they make the virus look like a crown. However, spike proteins are located here for reasons beyond decoration. They are actually the key that coronaviruses use to open the lock so that viruses can enter our host cells. Figure 2 shows the structure of the spike protein of the SARS virus. Such structure images are as real as photos of actual people. Given the sequence similarity, conservation here, the spike protein of the Wuhan coronavirus would look pretty much the same, which is indeed confirmed by a recent publication. 1. Picture figure 2. Structure of the SARS spike protein and how it binds to human ACE2 receptor. Pictures generated using the published structure, PDB-ID, 6H2A, 3 spike proteins, each consisting of a S1 half and a S2 half, form a trimer. B. The S2 halves, shades of blue, are responsible for trimer formation, while the S1 portion, shades of red, is important for binding human receptor ACE2, dark gray. C. Details of the binding between S1 and human ACE2. The part of S1 that is important and sufficient for binding are colored in orange, with most crucial amino acid side chains shown as sticks. This orange piece is presumably what's taken out of SARS spike and inserted into a bat coronavirus spike protein, thereby creating a novel human-infecting coronavirus. 3 spike proteins have to come together to function properly as the key. This 3-protein assembly is what they call a trimer. To form this trimer, you would need the blue portion of the spike protein, which is referred to as S2 of spike. This S2 part can be regarded as the part of the key that you hold with your fingers. It does not actually go into the lock. However, for this key to work, S2 has to be there and has to preserve the ability of forming trimers. The other half of spike, the red portion or what is referred to as S1, is responsible for binding the host receptor. S1 can be considered as the portion of the key that literally enters the lock. It has to fit precisely to the delicate shape of the lock, host receptor, so that the door opening action can be accomplished. Whether or not a particular lock can be opened by a specific key is decided exclusively by this S1 part of Spike. In other words, S1 of a coronavirus dictates which hosts or cells the virus can infect. Now you may be able to appreciate what I call extremely strange. While everything else of the Wuhan coronavirus remains almost identical to the two bat coronaviruses, the S1 portion, which dictates which host a coronavirus targets, has changed significantly from the two bat coronaviruses to the Wuhan coronavirus. Let's zoom in further, Figure 2c, and look at the exact part on S1 that dictates whether or not S1 binds a host receptor, in this case, the human ACE2 protein. This most critical part of S1 is a relatively small stretch of amino acids, labeled in orange in Figure 2c with important residues shown as sticks. This part includes everything needed for interacting with the human ACE2 receptor. You will see below how this segment, known to be unique to the SARS spike and sufficient for its interaction with human ACE2, is practically copied over by the Wuhan coronavirus. Picture Figure 3. Sequence alignment of the spike proteins from relevant coronaviruses, including viruses isolated from current pandemic, Wuhan 2019 nCoV_USA AZ1, closely related bat coronaviruses, bat_CoV_ZC45, bat_CoV_ZXC21, and SARS coronaviruses, SARS_GC02, SARS. Region marked by orange lines is the segment important for interaction with human receptor ACE2. Crucial residues for interaction are additionally highlighted by a red stick on top. Region marked by green lines is a furin cleavage site that exists only in the Wuhan coronaviruses but not in any other beta coronaviruses.
I'm missing the sticks in this case. In the previous, with the other picture, with this one here, we should see some sticks. Where are these sticks located then? Is this a stick or... Perhaps somebody in the chat knows.
Alignment was done using the Multalin web server, http://multalin.toulouse.nred.fr/multalin/. Figure 3 is the sequence alignment of the spike proteins from 6 coronaviruses. 2 are.
Okay, I think that the red sticks in this case are these little sticks here, and this is the orange part.
Viruses isolated from current pandemic, Wuhan 2019 nCoV_USA AZ1. 2 are closely related bat coronaviruses, bat_CoV_ZC45, bat_CoV_ZXC21. 2 are SARS coronaviruses, SARS_GC02, SARS. By glancing through this figure, you can easily tell that the second half of spike, 690 and beyond, namely S2, look pretty much the same for all 6 viruses. The difference is in the front half, 1-690, or the S1 portion. Now if you look at the top 4 sequences, the 2 Wuhan coronaviruses and 2 bat coronaviruses, you can see that they are largely the same across the S1 half of spike. Only a couple of places are different. However, the details of these differences and the way the human and the bat viruses differ from each other here in S1, in my and many other people's eyes, practically spell out the origin of the Wuhan coronavirus. It is created by people, not by nature. First important difference is what is highlighted in between 2 orange lines in Figure 3. Clearly, this part of the Wuhan coronavirus spike differs significantly from those of the bat virus spikes, despite the overall high identity between them. Intriguingly, this same segment of the Wuhan coronavirus resembles, on a great deal, the corresponding piece on the SARS spike protein. Indeed.
So if it's a bioweapon, they may have produced it other Indian study basically, and also had planned to remove that. I should have the original here somewhere. Let's see. Anyway, I can load it like this then. Takes a while. So this is the original of the document that was removed for revision, but they haven't revised that, so then people can wait and wait, but there is no revised version, and perhaps they're not gonna produce one, I assume. So this might have been a setup and they gave perhaps fake information, or perhaps they're not allowed by the people with directed energy weapons to produce it, to produce the revised version. But now we find this version, and when we look on the about page, then we see a nobody scientist has produced this supposedly, and it was originally in Chinese, so some translations are not perfect. But of course it's great, it's produced and online for everyone. So what do the scientists think? Could this be true? And again, what is the best evidence that would prove it then, supposedly? Because I'm not seeing any evidence that proves things beyond any reasonable doubt with 100% certainty. Or is a combination of things, does it make it clear that it cannot be a natural virus, it has to be a designer virus, a bioweapon?
This is precisely the region highlighted in Figure 2C in orange. As we have pointed out earlier, this segment contains everything needed for human ACE2 interaction. Here, it seems that this critical piece was copied from the SARS spike protein and then pasted into a bat coronavirus. There are of course differences between these two, which may make it seem unlikely a direct copy and paste. However, careful examination shows that all residues essential for binding, orange sticks in Figure 2C and residues highlighted by red short lines in Figure 3, are either precisely preserved or substituted with residues of similar properties. At the same time, differences lie mostly at residues non-essential for binding ACE2. Judging from this observation, one can safely envision that not only Wuhan coronavirus spike will bind ACE2 but also it will bind ACE2 exactly the same way that SARS spike does, Figure 2BC. For the two bat coronaviruses here, given how they lack many of the key residues, what is marked by red sticks in Figure 3, for binding human ACE2, it is easy to predict that these two bat viruses would not be able to infect human. The Wuhan coronavirus, while being almost identical to their bat relatives, ZC45 and ZXC21, everywhere else, has somehow inherited the critical, short piece from SARS spike to replace the incompetent piece in the bat coronavirus spike. As a result of this miraculous replacement in S1, all key residues preserved and many non-essential residues changed, the Wuhan coronavirus has practically acquired the ability to infect humans, something its closest bat relatives do not have. Could natural evolution achieve something this precise and, at the same time, this deceptive? Question mark.
So welcome to all viewers. I see some comments in the chat made by Tony. Welcome back Tony. Thanks for your comments. Hi bro, Tony writes. Link, please bro, broadcast this before they take it down. They planned another video on this topic. I mean Diamond Princess related with 5G networks, bro. Well, I've read that also Ericsson has produced about it, that these cruise ships have 5G when they're in the harbor, so not when they're at sea, but when they're in the harbor. So that's the time to shield yourself and perhaps get off the cruise ship. I first will cover these studies completely, and that will take a lot of time basically, and then I may take a look at the video. Thanks for the link, and I might make a separate broadcast about it if it's important information for the people of planet Earth. The people above all is my motto. We're going to create a perfect society. So the idea is perfecting society, not breaking it down, creating a crisis and illegal population reduction, but the opposite, creating a perfect society, controlling all factors that control aging, and also preventing this evil population reduction scenario, exposing it and uniting against that, and making sure that it is prevented. Preventing beats curing. So there are three main things we have to prevent. One is prevent annexation world war, Trump-Kushner peace plan world war. 2 is prevent a lockdown. I've covered the effectiveness of colloidal silver. This study doesn't show anything about colloidal silver. People may not claim it's a cure, but there are 2 studies that I've covered that show conclusively that SARS coronavirus is destroyed by colloidal silver. And when people use that internally, they also have to use probiotics. On purecolloids.co.uk and silveredge.com you can find 2 studies, but there may be more in relation to SARS coronavirus specifically, SARS coronavirus and colloidal silver. And number 3 is roll back the 5G antenna. So the government has to test the harmfulness of 5G and test the safety and effectiveness of colloidal silver. And otherwise the governments are not doing their job. But of course I've already made clear that the US government is involved in state-sponsored terrorism. The Wikipedia article US state-sponsored terrorism also makes that clear. So perhaps the government is already infiltrated by secret societies Kennedy warned us about. And population reduction NGOs, tax-exempt corporations. You have Jesuits, Masons, Bilderbergers, and the Committee of 300, for example, groups, secret societies of which many people think they could be behind this because they advocate a population reduction and the partners in crime. But more about it in previous broadcasts. So let's continue reading this wonderful study, and especially with focus on what would prove things conclusively, basically. I think that it may be true that this study shows that it's extremely likely, but does it show that it's impossible, that it's a natural virus, that an antigenic shift occurred? And also I wonder, are there elements of HIV in it, or is that nonsense? And how many people have seen this virus with their own eyes under a microscope?
If you have not been awed enough, let's move on to appreciate magic trick number 2. Please look at the region marked by 2 green lines in figure 3. Here only the Wuhan coronaviruses contain an additional piece, spora. Importantly, this added piece allows the spike protein to be readily cleaved by a host protease enzyme, furin, a desirable property known to produce more infectious viruses in the case of influenza. Note that no beta coronaviruses in the same lineage B, except this new Wuhan coronavirus, contain such a furin cleavage site. Further explanation on why these changes could not have come from nature. We have briefly explained why random mutations could not result in the weird pattern of sequence identity between the Wuhan coronavirus and related bat coronaviruses, ZC45 or ZC21.
Well, if that's true, then this would prove it, basically.
Let's dig a little deeper here. Although the spike proteins of different coronaviruses are more likely to differ, greater discrepancy in S1 may only be expected if 2 viruses have been long separated during evolution and have adapted, through random mutation, to their respective hosts for a long time. In that scenario, the overall sequence identity would be low as well. In the present case, however, the sequence identity between either of the bat coronavirus and the Wuhan coronavirus is over 95%, suggesting these two viral lineages must have diverged from each other fairly recently. Therefore, a sequence identity of 69% for the S1 portion of spike protein is simply insane. The S1 of Wuhan coronavirus could not have originated from the S1 of a bat coronavirus, a recent common ancestor that the Wuhan virus shares with ZC45 and ZC21, through random mutations. Now let me explain why recombination also could not be responsible for the observed pattern. What happens in a recombination event is that one segment of a gene can be replaced by a similar segment from another gene. In evolution, recombination events happen much less frequently than random mutations. When recombination happens, however, it often brings abrupt changes to certain areas of the genome. If naturally occurring recombination events lead to the creation of the Wuhan coronavirus, how would it transpire? First, it would have to take place when an ancestor bat coronavirus, something very similar to ZC45 or ZC21, coexisted with another coronavirus in the same cell of the same animal. Under extremely rare circumstances, recombination may occur, where a random piece in the ancestor's genome is replaced by a similar but different piece from the other coronavirus. Importantly, to go from such ancestor to the Wuhan coronavirus, one combination event is not enough. What has to happen is that recombination has to take place twice during the evolution of the Wuhan coronavirus. In one occasion, the ancestor bat coronavirus would have to acquire, through recombination with a SARS-like coronavirus, the precise short segment of S1 that is responsible for human ACE2 interaction, region highlighted in orange in both Figure 2 and Figure 3.
If it's a designer virus and they've used software comparable to Oracle software, Oracle 8i software programs named Daylight and Promise, then they already know how this virus will develop. They know there will be a second coronavirus wave in the fall, winter. And of course you can also compare it to the 1918 flu pandemic. This shows deaths per 1,000 population, and the second wave was the biggest wave of the 1918 Spanish flu. So that began in July of 1918, and the second wave around November, and a third small wave still bigger than the first wave in March 1919. And I did a broadcast about this, which you can also check on my channel, but it doesn't go into the bioweapon thing, so I don't know how long they permit this broadcast online. But if it's new evidence that is not the same as the article that is being revised, then that may be interesting, and as a matter of fact our lives may depend on it, so that's why I'm producing this video.
In another occasion, the improved bat coronavirus would further swap in a furin cleavage site through recombination with yet another coronavirus that carries a furin cleavage site between its S1 and S2 of spike. Also, again, given the overall high sequence identity, 95%, between the bat coronaviruses and the Wuhan coronavirus, it is reasonable to believe that these two diverged from each other fairly recently. Therefore, both recombination events must have taken place fairly recently as well. Now, we know that SARS crossing over to infect human is a very rare event. To have another SARS-like sequence exist in nature so that the ancestor bat coronavirus can do recombination with is a very unlike event. Not to mention that this SARS-like virus must have a spike that binds ACE2 the same way as SARS, and yet the piece of S1 that is most critical for binding ACE2 would differ with that of SARS spike only at non-essential sites. On top of that, furin cleavage site has not been observed in any beta coronaviruses in the same lineage so far. Although similar furin cleavage sites have been observed in other coronaviruses, none of them contains the same exact sequence. Therefore, the chance that the furin cleavage site in the Wuhan coronavirus was obtained through recombination with another furin cleavage site containing coronavirus is very low. Now, What are chances for both of these next two impossible recombination events to take place? My answer is no chance. This Wuhan coronavirus cannot be coming from nature. Why some literature has to be excluded in the analysis? Someone who has been following the recent literature on this topic would point out that the above analysis failed to take into account some crucial evidence. Such evidence, coincidentally, supports a natural origin of the Wuhan coronavirus. Then how dare I leave it out in my analysis? The short answer: that evidence was very likely fabricated. Please allow me to switch my mode now, from a scientist to a detective or a judge. If we consider this matter as a crime under investigation, then we have so far one big suspect, Dr. Zhengli from the Wuhan Institute of Virology and the Biosafety Level 4, P4, Lab for Virology Research, as the top coronavirus expert in China. Since the beginning of the outbreak, Zhengli has been singled out as the suspect who may have created this virus, which somehow leaked out of the P4 lab. Intriguingly, she published an interesting paper in Nature a couple of weeks ago. 3. There she compared the freshly obtained sequence of the Wuhan coronavirus with those of other beta coronaviruses, which allowed her to delineate an evolutionary path of this new virus. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, she reported a bat coronavirus, RaTG13, which shares high sequence identity with the Wuhan coronavirus. Strikingly, between RaTG13 and the Wuhan virus, the mutational rate is low, or sequence identity is high. 98.5%, for all parts of the genome, including the spike protein. If we have questioned the origin of the Wuhan coronavirus because of the weird pattern of sequence conservation between the Wuhan coronavirus and the two bad coronaviruses, ZC45 and ZC21, then RaTG13 does not show any concern in that regard. Here, the spike protein is just as conserved as other proteins. From the first look, it seems that RaTG13 belongs to the same small lineage as the Wuhan coronavirus and that the two must share a very recent common ancestor. Such findings strongly suggest a natural origin of the Wuhan coronavirus. This paper reporting the RaTG13 coronavirus, 3, is the evidence that I failed to take into account in the earlier analysis. According to credible sources, she has admitted to several individuals in the field that she does not have a physical copy of this RaTG13 virus. Her lab allegedly collected some bat feces about 7 years ago and analyzed these samples for possible presence of coronaviruses based on genetic evidence. To put it into plainer words, she has no physical proof for the existence of this RaTG13 virus. She only has its sequence information, which is nothing but a string of letters alternating between A, T, G, and C. Can the sequence be fabricated? It cannot be any easier. It takes a person less than a day to type such a sequence, less than 30,000 letters, in a Word file. And it would be 1,000 times easier if you already have a template that is about 98% identical to the one you are trying to create. Once the typing is finished, one can upload the sequence onto the public database, without being really questioned for its authenticity or correctness. Once uploaded and released, such sequence data becomes public and can be used legitimately in scientific analysis and publications. Then, can this RaTG13 sequence be used as evidence in judging the matter? Well, remember, a central part of the matter is whether or not this Wuhan coronavirus is engineered or created by Zhengli SHI.
Because I'm not a doctor, I don't have a medical background, I cannot judge the authenticity, the truthfulness of these claims, and the people reducing the global population let people make speech errors to make them sound unscientific and to reduce the global population. Of course, they don't want to be caught. They just want to reduce the global population to 500 million, which they call sustainability. And of course, Al Gore's carbon tax scam, paid for by George Soros, is also part of this sustainability equals democide plan.
It is she, not anybody else, who is the biggest suspect of this possible crime that is grander than any other crime ever committed in human history. Given the circumstances, if the evidence she raised to prove herself innocent is nothing but a bunch of letters recently typed in a Word file, should anyone treat it as valid evidence? Unfortunately, in several recent reports, scientists indeed based their analyses on this RaTG13 sequence and thereby reached conclusions such as the Wuhan coronavirus is a result of natural evolution. I hope you now agree that these conclusions could not be trusted because they are based on data that is most likely fabricated by SHI. Now, let us think about this from the other direction. The RaTG13 virus has a highly alarming sequence.
So this claim would be easy to disprove if there is a physical copy of this RaTG13 virus. But the previous claim, where I said that might be evidence, that might be it already, basically. I'd have to look at that again.
Glancing at the sequence of the spike protein of this virus, any expert would immediately realize that this virus resembles SARS in its potential and binding human ACE2 and therefore may very likely be able to infect humans. She herself is such an expert. According to she, her lab studies bat coronaviruses so that they could someday predict novel coronavirus outbreaks and better prepare the public for such events. If her statement is true, then how could she possibly overlook this extremely interesting finding of RaTG13? Something that clearly has the potential to infect humans? If this RaTG13 was discovered 7 years ago, why did she not publish this astonishing finding earlier? Why did she decide to publish such a sequence only when the current outbreak took place and people started questioning the origin of the Wuhan coronavirus? None of these make sense. All in all, these facts should make people question Zhengli even more in terms of her possible involvement in the matter. She either was directly involved in the creation of this virus, bioweapon, or helped cover it up, or both. Of course, these facts also speak the necessity to exclude this RaTG13 sequence from any scientific analysis. The same goes to the notion that pangolins might be the intermediate host responsible for transmitting the virus from bats to humans. In early February, a press conference was held, where 3 researchers from South China Agriculture University, SCHWA, claimed that their recent findings point to pangolin as a possible intermediate host. First of all, the timing of the press conference is interesting, just when people are saying that bat viruses cannot directly infect humans and an intermediate host must exist, where the viral spike protein would learn/adapt to bind an ACE2 similar to human ACE2. When something must exist to favor the side of the CCP, this something always miraculously appears, just like she's RaTG13. This time, it is the pangolin coronavirus. Before even publishing the paper, these researchers shows their evidence, sequence of the receptor binding domain of the pangolin coronavirus that looks almost identical to the Wuhan coronavirus. Again, no live virus exists here, just the sequence, not even released back then. It is the same deal as the RaTG13 case. A person can literally type this sequence out in a few minutes. Therefore, for similar reasons, one has to be extremely cautious and alert that this may again be fabricated by the CCP with an intention to help cover up the truth. Fortunately, the field seems to have excused pangolins. The pangolin coronavirus sequence that was finally released by the SCHWA group and another research group in Hong Kong fell short in convincing people about pangolin's role as an intermediate host. 5. This is in part because, according to its sequence, the pangolin coronavirus also does not have the furin cleavage site. Nonetheless, like RaTG13, these recent papers claiming the role of pangolin as an intermediate host should be discarded. 5. In fact, very recently, these SCHWA researchers admitted to the press that, upon further analysis of the complete sequence of the pangolin coronavirus, they also do not believe pangolin is a possible intermediate host of the Wuhan coronavirus. Some scientific literature that deserves the spotlight. We have just laid out the reasons why certain scientific evidence should be excluded. Now let us switch over to see why some other scientific evidence deserves our complete attention. First, the 2 bat coronaviruses, ZC45 and ZXC21, that are strangely close to the Wuhan coronavirus were collected by a military research lab of the CCP. They published the finding and the sequences of these two viruses back in 2018. 6. I want to emphasize two facts here. 1. If the Wuhan coronavirus was man-made, then it must have been created using ZC45 or ZXC21 as a template. 2. Nobody in this world has these bad coronaviruses, except for the CCP, as evidenced by this publication. Second, Zhengli co-authored a paper in Nature Medicine back in 2015. 7. Where she collaborated with Ralph Barrick at the University of North Carolina to show that replacing the spike protein of a non-human infecting coronavirus with a spike protein capable of binding human ACE2 led to a novel coronavirus that gained the ability to infect humans. Now, what is happening in the Wuhan coronavirus essentially follows the same scheme. The changes, although minimal, are sufficient to turn the bad coronavirus into a virus that can infect humans. The only difference is that, when changes are this subtle, tracing the origin of the virus becomes much difficult. Third, a 2006 publication showed that inserting a furin cleavage site in the junction region of S1 and S2 of spike of the SARS coronavirus led to much enhanced membrane fusion activity of the virus. 8. Although viral infectivity enhancement was not observed in their study using pseudoviruses, presence of such furin cleavage sites is known to be associated with high pathogenicity in influenza virus infections. Miraculously, this is precisely what is observed in the Wuhan coronavirus, region marked by two green lines in Figure 3. Furthermore, influenza viruses containing such furin cleavage sites often infect a greater variety of cells and are therefore more likely to target organs in addition to the lung. Now you should recall multiple recent reports describing that the Wuhan coronavirus infects multiple organs, including lung, heart, blood vein, liver, central nerve system, etc. Simple and yet clear logic on how this Wuhan coronavirus may be made by the CCP. If you put the pieces together, you should be able to appreciate how easily this virus can be created by the CCP. Obviously, the starting virus template used here, either ZC45 or ZXC21, is owned only by the CCP. 6. What they would do then was to modify things such that this bad coronavirus, non-infectious to humans, could be converted to a novel coronavirus that infects humans with high efficiency. They did so by following two published concepts. 7, 8, 1. They converted the crucial spike protein to something that follows the scheme of the SARS spike protein so that the virus can target human ACE2. 2. They inserted a furin cleavage site in between S1 and S2 of spike, which may make the virus more pathogenic. These two concepts are the only ones out there to get such a job done, yet, miraculously, they are being followed precisely here. If it were Mother Nature who has created this virus, then Mother Nature must have studied recent scientific literatures very carefully and followed these key findings faithfully in her work. 2, 6, 8. Also, let's go back a little and think why they spend so much time fetching coronaviruses all over the place. Is it really like what they claimed, to understand the potentials of coronaviruses and therefore better predict future emerging coronaviruses? Why didn't they put as much effort on vaccine research or drug discovery targeting a function, protein conserved in most coronaviruses then? The latter is not only more beneficial to the public but also way easier than predicting emerging viruses. Another possibility, of course, is that they are collecting these things to create coronavirus-based bioweapons. What is the truth? You can make up your own mind. As of me, I am fully convinced that this is a bioweapon made by the CCP. Given all the facts and the logic connecting them as laid out above, it is completely reasonable to argue that, unless the CCP can prove otherwise, the world has all the right to believe that the Wuhan coronavirus was made by the CCP.
Well, then let's look at the comments. There are comments as well, 135 comments on this one, and then I will cover the other article on the same website, nerdhaspower.weebly.com, RaTG13, the undeniable evidence that the Wuhan coronavirus is man-made. And perhaps it's better to read this one first and then the comments, because I think this one has no comments. So I thought first the other comments with the other article, but I don't see anywhere. So I'll first read this and then the comments, because there are good comments. I think I've read a part already, and then I thought, well, then I should do a broadcast about this.
RaTG13, the undeniable evidence that the Wuhan coronavirus is man-made. This is an updated version of my earlier writing, which has just been published at https://ns.org/192144/. Unfortunately, the NS version has a few editing errors, so I am posting the draft here as well. If you have read my earlier writing before, sorry for repeating some of the things here again. In that case, please skip the first section. Who dares to carry out such an deceitful action? Thank you. What is the true origin of the Wuhan coronavirus, SARS-CoV-2, 2019 nCoV, the CCP virus? Many scientific publications seem to tell you that the virus was born from nature. How reliable are these publications? While, before I comment on that, I would like to bring out an important fact. All of such publications rely on a single evidence, the sequence of a bat coronavirus named RaTG13. RaTG13 looks like a close cousin of the Wuhan coronavirus. The two are 96% identical throughout the whole sequence of the viral genome. If RaTG13 is a nature-born virus, one can comfortably conclude that the Wuhan coronavirus must very likely also come from nature and must share a recent common ancestor with RaTG13. But here is the problem: this RaTG13 virus isn't real. The evidence of its existence, its sequence, was fabricated. Quite a claim, right? What is the claim based on? How can anyone fabricate a sequence? Who dares to carry out such a deceitful action and is not fearful of being caught? One is entitled to ask all of these questions. Now, let's dig into each of them and see how the answers provided here may stand. Who dares to carry out such a deceitful action? The sequence of RaTG13 was reported by Zhengli, a researcher from the Wuhan Institute of Virology and the Biosafety Level 4, P4, Lab for Virology Research. Dr. Xi is the top coronavirus expert in China. She has gained a nickname of Batwoman because she and her team have a long history of capturing wild bats in caves all over for the purpose of detecting and sometimes isolating coronaviruses within them. As publicly stated, the goal of her research is to identify animal coronaviruses that have the potential of crossing over to infect humans and thereby help the public avoid SARS-like disasters in the future. Ironically, contrary to this self-portrait, since the very beginning of the current pandemic, Zhengli has been singled out as the suspect, who may have created the Wuhan coronavirus and, in doing so, caused a worldwide disaster. Interestingly, on January 23, 2020, just before this rumor started to soar through the roof, she published a paper in Nature, 1, where she compared the freshly obtained sequence of the Wuhan coronavirus with those of other coronaviruses and thus delineated an evolutionary path of this new virus. In this publication, all of a sudden and out of nowhere, she reported this bat coronavirus, RaTG13, which pampered the public and seemingly helped shape a consensus in the field that the Wuhan coronavirus is of a natural origin. As stated in the paper, RaTG13 was discovered from Yunnan Province, China, in 2013. According to credible sources, she has admitted to several individuals in the field that she does not have a physical copy of this RaTG13 virus. Her lab allegedly collected some bat feces in 2013 and analyzed these samples for possible presence of coronaviruses based on genetic evidence. To put it into plainer words, she has no physical proof for the existence of this RaTG13 virus. She only has its sequence information, which is nothing but a string of letters alternating between A, T, G, and C. Can the sequence of such a virus be fabricated? It cannot be any easier. It takes a person less than a day to type such a sequence, less than 30,000 letters, in a Word file. And it would be 1,000 times easier if you already have a template that is about 96% identical to the one you are trying to create. Once the typing is finished, one can upload the sequence onto the public database. Contrary to general conception, such database does not really have a way to validate the authenticity or correctness of the uploaded sequence. It relies completely upon the scientists themselves, upon their honesty and consciences. Once uploaded and released, such sequence data becomes public and can be used legitimately in scientific analysis and publications. Now, does this RaTG13 sequence qualify as credible evidence in judging the matter? Well, remember, a central part of the matter is whether or not this Wuhan coronavirus was engineered or created by Zhengli SHI. It is she, not anybody else, who is the biggest suspect of this possible crime that is grander than anything else in human history. Given the circumstances, wouldn't
not to convict anyone without a fair trial. So I'm not making any accusations, and without evidence it would be slander. So first I'd have to study this more.
She have a strong enough motive to be deceitful? If the evidence she raised to prove herself innocent was nothing but a bunch of letters recently typed in a Word file, should anyone treat it as valid evidence? RaTG13, if truly exists, should never be neglected by she for a period of 7 years. Let's now think about this from another direction. The sequence of RaTG13 is highly alarming. It clearly shows a potential of the virus to
innocent till proven guilty. It's also possible she was extorted somehow, if all of this is true.
Infect humans. Within the spike protein of a coronavirus, there is a critical piece named receptor binding domain, RBD, which dictates whether or not this virus can use the ACE2 receptor on the surface of our cells and thereby infect humans. As a routine, when she's team finishes collecting samples and confirms the presence of a coronavirus, the first thing they would do is to look at the sequence of the virus RBD. If there is resemblance between this sequence and that of the SARS virus, rarely so, their blood would boil because they have found something that may jump over to humans. It also means that top journal publications are coming their way. In 2013, she made her fame in the coronavirus field by publishing in Nature 2 bad coronaviruses, RS3367 and SHCO14, which share considerable sequence similarity with SARS in the RBD region. 2. This work, for the first time, proved a bat origin of SARS. In the following years, her team continued to publish articles, featuring additional bat coronaviruses that shared these important sequence motifs. 3. 4. What does an RBD sequence look like? Figure 1 is the sequence comparison between SARS-RBD and the RBDs of the bat coronaviruses that Zhengli published in high-profile journals. 2-4. Comparing to SARS, top, many bat coronaviruses, most of the ones in the bottom half, had substantial deletions in their RBDs and are thus likely defective in targeting humans. In contrast, some bat coronaviruses, upper half, not only resemble SARS in the completeness of the RBD sequences but also contain amino acids similar to their SARS counterparts at some of the 5 locations known to be critical for binding human ACE2 receptor. This group of viruses, with these dazzling features, were perceived by the field as breakthroughs. Picture Figure 1. Sequence alignment comparing the RBDs of SARS, top, and RaTG13, red arrow, to RBDs of bat coronaviruses that Zhengli published in high-profile journals from 2013 to 2017. 2-4. Amino acid residues highlighted by she as critical for binding human ACE2 receptor. 2. Are labeled in red text on top. Alignment was done using the Multi-Allen web server, http://multalin.toulouse.nred.fr/multalin/. How does RaTG13, which was discovered in 2013, compare to these most cherished collections of shes? By appearance, RaTG13 clearly belongs to the good-looking group. It rivals with the best ones in its completeness of the RBD sequence as well as in the conservation of critical amino acids. While a single amino acid insertion is observed, it occurs in a variable region and can be easily tolerated without affecting the protein function. Importantly, RaTG13 preserves the binding motifs as much as, if not better than, any other bat coronavirus in shes list. At position 442, RaTG13 has a L, which beats most, if not all, bat viruses in resembling the Y in SARS-CoV-2. L and Y both mediate hydrophobic interactions. At position 472, RaTG13 is the only bat coronavirus that has the residue L, which is identical to SARS. Although the amino acids at the other three positions are not identical to their counterparts in SARS, they are all conservative mutations, which may not negatively impact the protein's function. In fact, a very recent publication confirmed that the RBD from RaTG13, like SARS RBD, can indeed bind the human ACE2 receptor. 5. Note, the RaTG13 RBD gene used in this work was synthesized. As an expert as she is, she only needed to take one peek at the sequence of RaTG13's RBD and immediately realize, this virus closely resembles SARS in its RBD and has a clear potential of infecting humans. If she's public statement is true and she indeed intends to discover bat coronaviruses with a potential to cross over to humans, how could she possibly overlook this extremely interesting finding of RaTG13? If this RaTG13 was discovered 7 years ago in 2013, why did she not publish this astonishing finding earlier and yet let the less attractive viruses take the stage? Why did she decide to publish such a sequence only when the current outbreak took place and people started questioning the origin of the Wuhan coronavirus? None of these makes sense. These facts only add to the suspicion, Zhengli she either was directly involved in the creation of this virus, bioweapon, or helped cover it up, or both.
Well, she isn't in my broadcast to answer these questions. Perhaps she has excellent answers, so I don't want to jump to conclusions.
Of course, these facts also add to the claim that RaTG13 is a fake virus. It exists on Nature, the journal, but not in Nature. A closer look at the gene sequence of RaTG13 spike reveals clear evidence of human manipulation. To assist our analysis here, we have to first understand one basic feature of natural evolution. When a gene, composed of nucleotides, is being translated into a protein, composed of amino acids, every 3 consecutive nucleotides constitute a codon and each codon encodes a particular amino acid, figure 2. On the other hand, an amino acid typically corresponds to 4 codons, although some amino acids have 1 or 2 more and some 1 or 2 less. You can learn more about this here, https://pasl2.unl.edu/view/listen/3xc8500ac8/6. What does it mean? It means that, when a nucleotide has changed, or in other words a single nucleotide substitution has occurred, the codon is certainly altered but the corresponding amino acid may or may not change. This is because the new codon may encode the same amino acid as the old codon does. A single nucleotide substitution that results in no change of the amino acid is referred to as a synonymous mutation. A single nucleotide substitution that leads to a change in amino acid is called a non-synonymous mutation. When evolution takes place through random mutations, on average, every 6 nucleotide changes result in the change of 1 amino acid. In other words, on average and under normal conditions, the ratio between the number of synonymous mutations and that of non-synonymous mutations should be around 5:1. Picture figure 2, codon table. Picture taken from https://pasl2.unl.edu/view/listen/3xc8500ac8/6.
Reminds me of the Doors song, basically. 5 to 1. Baby 1 in 5. No one here gets out alive now. Well, that's the idea. We will live happily eternally. Everything is energy. It's possible. We'll control these factors that control aging in time. So hang in there and do healing things to live not just longer but also healthier lives.
Now let's further illustrate such a relationship using an example. In Figure 3a, synonymous and non-synonymous mutations are counted when the gene sequences of the spike proteins from two closely related bat coronaviruses, ZC45 and ZXC21, 6, are compared. The green curve depicts how the number of the synonymous mutation grows, y-axis, when the codons are analyzed sequentially, x-axis. The red curve represents the trend of non-synonymous mutations. As expected, there are more synonymous mutations than non-synonymous mutations. Importantly, a correlation between the two curves is clearly present. They climb up and go through plateaus in a roughly synchronized manner, throughout the whole length of the gene. At any point, the ratio between the accumulated synonymous and non-synonymous mutations is maintained at around 5 to 1. As we have described in the preceding paragraph, these features are consistent with what is the expected when two lineages closely relate to each other evolutionarily, and the differences in their sequences are results of random mutations. Picture Figure 3. Comparing the nucleotide sequences of different spike proteins on the synonymous mutations, green curve, and non-synonymous mutations, red curve, reveals evidence of human manipulation. A. Comparison between two related bat coronaviruses ZC45, MG772933, and ZXC21, MG772934, which are nature-born. B. Comparison between the Wuhan coronavirus, NC_045512, and RaTG13, MN996532, shows a pattern inconsistent with natural evolution. Sequence alignment was done using embossed needle. Synonymous non-synonymous analysis was performed using SNAP at www.hiv.laml.gov. 7. Does this hold true for RaTG13 and the Wuhan coronavirus? Not really. Figure 3b is the same comparative analysis done between RaTG13 and the Wuhan coronavirus. One thing you can immediately appreciate is that, in the second half of the sequence, while the green curve continues to grow steadily, the red curve stays flat. For a region as wide as over 700 amino acids, corresponding to 2,100 nucleotides, which is statistically substantial, the synchronization between the two curves is non-existent. Surprisingly, or maybe not so surprisingly, at the end, the final counts of synonymous and non-synonymous mutations yield a ratio of just over 5. Consistent with what's expected out of natural evolution. Let's bring out some numbers to help us better comprehend the difference here. Let's focus on the S2 protein, the second half of the spike ranging from 684 to 1273, numbering according to the Wuhan coronavirus. Detailed analysis of this region reveals that, between ZC45 and ZXC21, a total of 32 nucleotides have changed and 5 of them lead to amino acid mutations, 27 synonymous mutations versus 5 non-synonymous mutations. It is, again, consistent with the scenario of natural evolution. Every 6 nucleotide changes result in the change of 1 amino acid. Synonymous, non-synonymous ratio is about 5 to 1. In contrast, for the same S2 region, between the Wuhan coronavirus and RaTG13, there are a total of 90 nucleotide changes and only 2 amino acid mutations. Here, every 45 nucleotide changes correspond to 1 amino acid change. The synonymous, non-synonymous ratio is 44 to 1. It is noteworthy that ZC45 and ZXC21 share 97% sequence identity, just like that between the Wuhan coronavirus and RaTG13. So, the above comparison is very proper and reliable. If a person is studying the sequence differences between the Wuhan coronavirus and RaTG13 and yet pays attention only to the overall synonymous, non-synonymous ratio for the spike sequence, nothing would look strange. However, if one digs out as much details as shown in Figure 3, any person with a reasonable mind would say that something is clearly wrong. What is the best way to interpret this? A safe conclusion is that, between the Wuhan coronavirus and RaTG13, at least one is non-natural. If one is natural, then the other one must be not. Of course, the other possibility also exists: neither of them came from nature. If the Wuhan coronavirus is non-natural, then we have reached the end of our investigation. In fact, the Wuhan coronavirus may look natural even if it is a bioweapon because it is most likely made by using a natural coronavirus as a template. This would lead to a conclusion that the RaTG13 is non-natural, which is consistent with the facts we have brought up earlier. No physical copies of the virus exist and the sequence is highly likely fabricated. How could Zhengli fail so badly in fabricating the RaTG13 sequence? While, when I said it was easy to type out a fake sequence that is 96% identical to a template, I did not say that it is easy to maintain a reasonable synonymous, non-synonymous ratio throughout the whole genome. Unfortunately for she, when she had to come up a good sequence for S1 and the RBD within it, she knows that this part will be scrutinized the most. She had somehow exhausted the number of non-synonymous mutations she could use here. To maintain a reasonable synonymous, non-synonymous ratio for the whole spike encoding gene, we can actually give her some credit here as she did remember to get it close to 5:1. She had to strictly limit the number of non-synonymous mutations in the S2 half of spike, which ended up flattening the red curve. It is hard to be a cheater after all. A deeper reason that she and the CCP needs the cover of RaTG13. Hopefully you are now as convinced as I am in that the RaTG13 sequence is indeed a fabrication. The first thing we should do then is to discredit any scientific publication, which based its analysis on the RaTG13 sequence and subsequently arrived at the conclusion that the Wuhan coronavirus is of natural origin. When you do a cleanup like that, you will see that there is practically nothing left. Next, we can look back to see what other coronaviruses are close to the Wuhan coronavirus in terms of sequence similarity. It turns out the two bad viruses featured in Figure 3a, ZC45 and ZXC21, are the next hits, each sharing 95% amino acid sequence identity, ~89% nucleotide identity, with the Wuhan coronavirus. What is striking is the manner that the Wuhan coronavirus resembles these two bad coronaviruses. While every other protein remains highly identical, the S1 part of spike, which dictates host selection, is only 69% identical. I have posted an article earlier, where I thoroughly analyzed this pattern and discussed how it is interlocked with the Wuhan coronavirus being a bioweapon made with ZC45 or ZXC21 as a template. www.nerdhousepower.weebly.com. One thing we haven't mentioned so far is that ZC45 and ZXC21 are bat coronaviruses discovered, collected, and published by a military research lab of the Chinese Communist Party, CCP. 6. They are owned only by the CCP. Now you may be able to appreciate the full benefits that the CCP creates by reporting a fake RaTG13 virus with a fabricated sequence. It would just be too obvious otherwise. Finally, I would like to add an additional piece of evidence, which was brought up in a comment of my earlier article by someone who is clearly an expert. It, in my opinion, hugely strengthens the claim that the Wuhan coronavirus is of non-natural origin. The E protein of coronaviruses is a structural protein that is tolerant of mutations as evidenced both in SARS and in bad coronaviruses. However, on the amino acid level, E protein of the Wuhan coronavirus identified at the beginning of the outbreak is 100% identical to those of the suspected templates, ZC45 and ZXC21, Figure 4. What is striking is that, after a short 2-month spread of the virus in humans, the E protein is already mutating. Sequence data obtained within the month of April indicate that mutations have occurred to 4 different locations, Figure 4. Note that the E protein makes very limited interactions with host proteins and thus is not under revolutionary pressure to adapt to a new host. Not only the E protein can tolerate mutations but also its mutational rate is held constant across different coronavirus species. The fact that the E protein of the Wuhan coronaviruses is already mutating in the short period of human-to-human transmission is consistent with its evolutionary feature. In stark contrast, while ZC45/ZXC21 and the Wuhan coronavirus are more distant evolutionarily, the E proteins within them are 100% identical. In no way this could be a result of natural evolution. The most plausible explanation: the Wuhan coronavirus is a bioweapon made using ZC45/ZXC21 as a template, picture figure 4. Alignment of E proteins of bat and human coronaviruses shatters the notion that the Wuhan coronavirus came from nature. While the early copies of Wuhan coronavirus share 100% identity of the E protein with ZC45, ZXC21, and RaTG13, sequence data of most recent Wuhan coronaviruses indicates that mutation has been observed in 4 different locations. Accession numbers of viruses, not including the ones listed in Figure 3, February_11, MN997409, April_9, MT300186, April_13, MT326139, April_15_A, MT263389, April_15_B, MT293206, April_17, MT350246. Author's note and acknowledgement: the current writing is a reproduction of part of my earlier article, www.nerdhousepower.weebly.com, with 2 significant additions. The first addition is the analysis of synonymous, non-synonymous mutations of spike encoding gene of RaTG13. This was first identified and analyzed by Leonard D. Allens, who described this finding in a comment under my earlier article. Using the synonymous, non-synonymous ratio between ZC45 and ZXC21 as an example of natural evolution was suggested by Dot. The second addition is the analysis of recently observed mutations in the viral E proteins. This was first observed and analyzed by John F. Cygnus, who also posted his findings in a series of comments. The writing heroes greatly to their brilliance and insights. Particularly encouraged me in pursuing this writing. Although these names may only be their identities online, I nonetheless feel that it is appropriate to give the credits using these names. I believe dearly that the persons behind these names are the most decent and brilliant kind. Just realize that I used the wrong format for this page. If you want to leave a comment, please go to the main page blog. Sorry for the inconvenience.
Using the synonymous non-synonymous ratio between ZC45 and ZXC21 as an example of natural evolution was suggested by Translation Champion's Daddy. Well, okay, then we can read the comments now. Thanks for putting it online. 138 comments.
Polo 3/27/2021 and 44 seconds AM. If true. Then DNA sequencing can help gene editing to get cured. Let us not worry as detective has found answer. I'll go back home and use this evidence to get cured. By all and don't worry. Thank you detective/judge/biologist/Darwin. Reply nerd has power 3/29/2027 and 51 seconds PM. Well, it is true that this has nothing to do with how to cure someone with coronavirus infections. But keeping a blind eye and not taking actions may have consequences. If you know someone in your neighborhood is a serial killer, Would you feel comfortable giving him freedom and keeping him active? If CCP got away this time, you bet they will throw another one at you next time around. Things can be much worse than coronaviruses, and CCP definitely has more than one thing in their pocket.
So you could argue a cure is most important, but if it is a designer virus, they also have an antidote, otherwise they wouldn't have released it.
Reply Chris 3/27/2026 55 3 p.m. about the publications 3,4,5. Even if I understand that the dates of publications arrive at the right time just when it was necessary to justify the theory of natural genetic evolution, do you have more convincing elements which could accredit the thesis cheating? Reply now 3/29/2025 54 and 10 seconds a.m. These papers were published by the Chinese government and used as evidence to discredit this theory. 1. These papers came after the initial accusation. 2. They are taken by most scientists as evidence to disprove the man-made theory. That's all he is telling you. Paper was written claiming this was man-made. Fake reports were then published by China to disprove this theory. Scientists keep citing these papers as a reason this theory is wrong. He is telling you these papers need to be discounted as a reason, plus he is asking why would they have been necessary, all published by CCP scientists. Reply Nerd has power 3/29/2028 01 and 13 seconds p.m. Technically, I do not have more elements. A lawyer or a judge don't have to show proof to discredit certain evidence, right? It's common sense that the defendant's own words don't count. I am simply saying, given the circumstances, timing of publication being only one, but not the only one, the RaTG13 sequence cannot serve as credible scientific evidence. The same goes to the other two papers on pangolin coronaviruses. There are odd things in the way they acquired their samples, BTW. I can't spend the time describing this though. The CCP should show proof on RaTG13 and pangolin coronaviruses. Again, when the evidence against them is strong, they cannot prove themselves innocent only with their own words, sequences. Reply Nerd has power. Corrections made on 3/29/2020 17 and 42 seconds p.m. I updated some things in the article. Someone kindly pointed out two errors in my earlier version. First, in the 2006 paper, reference 8, they actually did not see enhanced viral infectivity. My memory fooled me during my writing. I have corrected this mistake and clarified that insertion of furin cleavage site lead to greater infectivity and greater cell tropism in influenza virus, not the pseudovirus in this 2006 paper. Second, I originally wrote that furin cleavage site does not exist in any beta coronaviruses. That is not correct. You can tell that I am not a coronavirus expert. Such site is not seen in any lineage B beta coronaviruses, but similar ones, not the exact sequence, are observed in lineage A and other coronaviruses, such as MERS. I have corrected this also. I have to admit that this change weakens my argument that acquiring this furin cleavage site through recombination is extremely low, slightly. I have changed my tone accordingly. However, I don't think such change makes any fundamental difference in the overall picture. I remain fully convinced that this Wuhan coronavirus is of non-natural origin. Reply A4/1/2028 08 and 29 seconds p.m. Interesting article. Could you provide more details on where you obtain genetic sequences, and what arguments to use for analyzer? Pictures are too small, and impossible to inspect. Reply Nerd has power 4/6/2029 19 and 13 seconds p.m. These sequences are all on the public database, https://www.ncbi.nlm.nih.gov. I will list the accession numbers and you can use them to retrieve the actual sequences of these viruses. For comparing sequences, you may use BLAST, https://blast.ncbi.nlm.nih.gov/blast.get, or play with the server listed in Figure 3, http://multalin.toulouse.nred.fr/multalin/ Wuhan Hu1 NC _045512 2019 INCOV/USA AZ1 MN997409, COV_ZC45MG772933.1, COV_ZXC21MG772934, SARS_GZ02AY390556, SARS_CoV-NC_004718.3, MERS_CoV-NC_019843.3, BAT_RAG13 MN996532 reply Pegan 4/6/2028 and 13 seconds PM. Nicely written and very hard to dismiss. My only question is, how do you think she did it? There are existing papers claiming that with known methods, it is easy to detect if a virus is artificially made. Reply nerd has power 4/6/2029 10 and 52 seconds PM. I have some thoughts on what methods she or others might have used to create it. I might put it into another writing. I know what paper you are referring to though. It's the Nature Medicine paper published by Anderson, right? His statement that it is easy to detect if a virus is artificially made is laughable. He is either deliberately helping cover things up, his co-author Lipkin is a long-term partner with the CCP, or is simply ignorant about current tools for cloning. Nowadays you can easily edit genes without leaving a trace, even if it is tedious to remove the trace. Wouldn't you do all you can to achieve so when you are making a bioweapon? That Nature Medicine paper is a shame. Reply haha 4/7/2021 55 and 50 seconds PM. But she's research on collecting virus all over China is funded by EcoHealth Alliance, via the PREDICT program funded by USAID. Reply nerd has power 4/9/2024 44 and 16 seconds AM. EcoHealth Alliance may be one of her funding sources, but researchers receive funding from many sources. She is funded much more by the CCP. She is the top expert in virology and leads the top lab at the top facility in China. You can find a bunch of titles that the CCP has given her. If you think she is not under the control of the CCP, then you probably don't really know how things are in China. USAID might have given her some money, but that doesn't mean that they get to watch what her team is doing every minute. However, the CCP can and will. Has she obeyed and served the CCP? These titles of hers may tell you a bit on that. Reply list miss link 4/11/2020 10 13 and 12 seconds AM. Well written. I am not a virologist, but can you take a look to see if apps:/www.pnesa.org/content/early/2020/07/2004999117 is valid? 70-cent army paid by CCP posted this link almost everywhere in YouTube. Here's what I replied to them. A paper based on an incomplete virus sample set is invalid. Haven't all virus samples already been destroyed by CCP by January 3rd? I can easily find material stating that CCP virus is made by CCP. https://nerdwhospower.weebly.com/further. If CCP can corrupt US media like Vo, CNN, Washington Post, Wall Street Journal, what else cannot they corrupt? Which costs CCP a whole lot less. Buying a few authors to fool the world or paying the world for their inhuman crime? Surely, the former. Reply Chris 4/11/2020 11 17 and 15 seconds AM. Do you have the YouTube links? Reply nerd has power 4/11/2020 11 22 and 5 seconds AM. I saw this paper. You have made a very good point that the sample size in this FNIS paper is too modest. Furthermore, although I'm not a huge expert in bioinformatics, I can say that the way they analyze these sequences, tracing individual mutations, is very old-fashioned and not powerful in today's standards. The combination of these two already diminished their conclusions. But the biggest problem is that they did their analysis by assuming that the RaTG13 virus is the origin of the Wuhan coronavirus, reference 7 in their paper. Their conclusion is reached based on which sequence resembles the RaTG13 sequence more. As you probably know, I am convinced that any scientific analysis based on this RaTG13 sequence should be discarded. I completely agree with your other point too. The CCP always gets its way by corrupting a few individuals. I'm not saying the authors of the SPNIS paper are also puppets of the CCP, but many people out there are, including the president of the WHO. US pays big dollars for the organization, while the CCP still made WHO work for them by corrupting the ones in power. It is the typical approach of the CCP. Reply list missed 4/11/2020 12:15 and 23 seconds PM. Thank you for your explanations. Well said. Here are the videos. https://www.youtube.com/watch v equals 3bxwgxhd7ic https://www.youtube.com/watch v equals mg5 budpre 1q and lc equals ux3u_4@ozakakakra4abag.975 xmdsc5dm97jhdv_gym and feature equals m comments. Gimlo often picks the comments that have most thumbs up to speak in favor of CCP. With his links. Sean link 4/12/2020 4:03 and 56 seconds AM. This paper, blog is in serious need of an abstract. Please consider. Reply Sean 4/12/2020 12:25 and 49 seconds PM. This is the most insane paper. I've read the whole thing from top to bottom and have shared it with the world. I am also convinced that this is a bioweapon. The timing is too perfect, everything from the furin cleavage site to the S1 protein being a SARS variant, and the fact that these recombination techniques were previously used by the Bat Lady in research specifically for simulating potential human coronaviruses. And she warns, there's more where that came from, because the binding site won't be a target, but a random question. Weren't there 2 coronavirus strains that came about magically at one point? And that one suddenly appeared somewhere? Reply nerd has power 4/12/2020 2:54 and 7 seconds PM. Thank you for sharing it with others. The matter itself is insane and everybody deserves to know what's really going on. I don't think I quite understand your question. Could you rephrase it a little bit? Are you asking whether recombination between 2 coronaviruses is magical as this one has been evidenced before? Reply Sean link 4/14/2020 2:08 and 25 seconds AM. Referring to the confusion that arose towards the very beginning of the epidemic Seattle coronavirus versus Wuhan. Like there were 2 different strains or something. If this were the case, if there were in fact 2 different strains of coronavirus circulating, this would speculate further into the nature of the potential release scenario. There was some mystery towards the beginning of the outbreak with regards to 2 different strains. Sean link 4/14/2020 2:19 and 42 seconds AM. Furthermore, if the recombination event, that is addition of SARS-like spike protein, happened on 2 separate bat coronaviruses, that would almost solidify the fact that it were not by natural selection if those SARS-like spike proteins were similar. Of course, this all pending the level of expertise one could have with creating new SARS-like viruses by testing binding affinities to ACE2. What an extraordinarily dangerous time we're living in. Who needs nuclear weapons when you can build genetically engineered viruses? You have to consider, and wonder, if this was just a nuclear test. Nerd has power 4/14/2020 9:33 and 19 seconds PM. Thank you for the clarification. I see your point now. As far as I know, the evidence predominantly supports a single origin of the virus. There appear to be questions of where it originated, although there is actually no doubt that it came from Wuhan, but I don't think any scientific literature really hinted about different strains initiating independently at different places. Again, I think the evidence strongly support a single origin of the pandemic, and, yes, extraordinarily dangerous time indeed. Nuclear weapons don't spread like this, nobody is not affected by it. The world needs to wake up to the fact that communism and dictatorships are enemies of the entire human race. If we don't get them and instead allow them to gather money and resources, they will get us. The CCP has to be taken down and eradicated from this world. Jim Jones 5/8/2024 31 and 17 seconds AM. Communism is great and has nothing to do with dictatorships. Capitalism dictates. You give the game away with your scientific bias there. This appears to be about your personal fears and political prejudices. You haven't even given a motive for creating this virus or how it benefits China. Viruses and RNA sequence evolution are far more complex than you make out, just like your politics. Sam 5/8/2025 20 and 13 seconds AM. Did Zhengli say, "There's more where that came from"? Can you show me where she says that? Thanks. Reply Seek the Truth 4/13/2027 19 and 26 seconds PM. Fascinating. I notice that the comments are split, no pun intended. Between here and the Chinese version. I noticed some interesting comments from Leonard D. Allens, and your responses, in the Chinese comments section. Could you do an edit to incorporate newly provided info, discovery from Leonard D. Allens here as well?
Okay, to clarify, capitalism, you have two cows, you sell one and buy a bull. That's capitalism. Communism, you have two cows, you give them to the government and the government then gives you some milk. Fascism, you have two cows, you give them to the government and the government then sells you some milk. Socialism, you have two cows, the government takes one and gives it to your neighbor. Nazism, you have two cows, the government takes both and shoots you. And there are many more forms of government, so there may be much better ones that are unknown to most people. My theory is we're in a non-fictional cyberocracy, synthetic telepathy since 1974, the Maleg patent, apparatus to remotely monitor and alter brainwaves, and a patent is not provided unless it's a working device. Pure socialism, you have two cows, the government takes them and puts them in a barn with everyone else's cows, you have to take care of all the cows. Socialism, you have two cows, the government takes them from you and then sells you the milk. And that's it, two cows. People can Google everything, of course. The famous two cows stories are created to teach people about what it means, socialism, democracy, all these forms of government. So what is the best form of government? Let me know in the comments.
I noticed from your comments here English section that you made updates as made aware by the commenters I think that inclusion of Leonard D. Allens' additional info to your write-up would strengthen your assertion considerably. Reply Nerd has power 4/14/2029 38 and 37 seconds PM. Great suggestion. I completely agree that comments made by Leonard D. Allens are very powerful and supportive of the conclusion here. I will work on translating these over to this English section soon, thank you. Reply Chris 4/16/2023 44 and 13 seconds PM. Yes, please translate this comments by Leonard. Nerd has power 4/16/2023 56 and 59 seconds PM is noted by Seek the Truth in the comment above. Leonard D. Allens made an excellent point in the Chinese comments section next door, which strongly supports the claim that the Wuhan coronavirus is man-made. I have looked into this aspect myself and found it very convincing. Below is this finding and its implications in English. Please note that it is not an exact translation of the comments made by Leonard, although the contents are largely the same. This concerns the S2 portion of the spike protein, blue labeled parts in Figure 2ab. More specifically, here, we are comparing the Wuhan coronavirus and the RaTG13 virus, the sequence of which I believe is fabricated by Zhengli, on the sequence between 647 and 1124 of the S2 protein. Note that this part of the protein typically sees mutations as evidenced in Figure 3, however, interestingly, between Wuhan coronavirus and the RaTG13 virus, not a single amino acid has changed in this region. What is striking is that, at the gene level and within the same region, the two differ 79 times. When a gene, composed of nucleotides, is being translated into a protein, composed of amino acids. Every 3 consecutive nucleotides constitute a codon, and each codon corresponds to a particular amino acid. On the other hand, an amino acid typically corresponds to 4 codons, although some amino acids have 1 or 2 more and some 1 or 2 less. You can learn more about it here. https://pasl2.unl.edu/view/listen/3xc8500ac8/6. What does it mean? It means that, when a nucleotide has changed, or in other words a single mutation has occurred, in the gene, the codon is certainly altered but the corresponding amino acid may or may not change. This is because the new codon may encode the same amino acid as the old codon did. In evolution, on average, every 9 nucleotide changes result in the change of 1 amino acid. Now, let's take a look at our case here. 79 nucleotides are different and yet not a single amino acid has changed. Remember, again, we are looking at a region of the virus that can easily tolerate changes. The above pattern is, therefore, extremely strange. According to Elander's calculations, the chance of this happening in nature is 1,9,526,094 or 0.0000001049744819. Elander listed an equation for this, which I'm not expert enough to comprehend unfortunately. Furthermore, the nucleotide changes almost exclusively took place at the 3rd position of the codon, 77 out of 79. Which tend to lead to no change in amino acid. Such a strong bias to the 3rd position, over the 1st and 2nd positions, is a strong indication of artificial manipulation. Can nature be so selective in carrying out random mutations?
Only yesterday, Netherlands' population was 17,129,299. And the Netherlands' total confirmed COVID-19 cases 41,319, and this means about 0.24%, 0.24, so almost a quarter percent, 1/4% of Dutch people are confirmed COVID-19 patients. Total Dutch coronavirus deaths 5,204, means about 0.03% of the Dutch population. And that was yesterday, the 7th of May 2020, information from worldometers.info. So aren't they totally overreacting? And isn't this, aren't these measures unconstitutional and illegal measures that will create a crisis that will kill more people than the virus? Many companies going bankrupt, many people losing their jobs, etc. And there may be a second coronavirus wave coming. Even though they know that according to these scientific documents, the colloidal silver kills SARS-CoV-2, they are not testing that because they cannot make money from it. The medical cartel cannot make trillions of dollars from colloidal silver because people can also make that at home. Though the nano silver, the smaller the particles, the more effective the silver, that may be better quality. So these 2 studies show SARS coronavirus is destroyed by colloidal silver, and viruses are not living organisms. So some people think they are electroparasites. That's a video I've covered in a previous broadcast. So they don't eat, they don't produce feces. And then the question is, where do they get their energy? How can they copy their RNA into the cells? How can the virus replicate? How does viral replication take place?
What do these observations mean? They mean that, between the Wuhan coronavirus and the RaTG13 virus, at least one is non-natural. If one is natural, then the other one must be not. Of course, The other possibility also exists. Neither of them came from nature. Elander seems to believe that RaTG13 does exist and was used as the template to create the bioweapon, the Wuhan coronavirus. When those devils worked on creating this bioweapon, they followed the same exact amino acid sequence of S2 of RaTG13 but may have intentionally changed its nucleotide sequence, without affecting any amino acid identity, to make the bioweapon look different from RaTG13. The two nucleotide sequences being exactly the same would be a clear indication that the bioweapon is made out of RaTG13. I tend to believe the other possibility. The RaTG13 virus does not exist and its sequence was fabricated to make people believe that there is a natural origin of the Wuhan coronavirus. In this scenario, when they were fabricating the RaTG13 sequence, they wanted to make sure that the amino acid sequence of S2 does not change much from that of the Wuhan coronavirus because S2 is typically conserved as seen in other coronaviruses. At the same time, they wanted to make sure that the gene sequence of RaTG13 differs just the right amount from the Wuhan coronavirus so that the two look like very close relatives with each other, thereby deceiving people to believe an evolutionary origin of the Wuhan coronavirus. The thing they forgot to take care of here, however, is the correlation between the number of nucleotide mutations and the number of amino acid mutations. Their product, the RaTG13 sequence, now exhibits an extremely unnatural disproportion of 79 nucleotide changes versus 0 amino acid change, when compared with the sequence of the Wuhan coronavirus at this part of S2. This, together with the bizarre bias of mutations occurring predominantly at the third position of the codons, adds tremendously to my already well-supported notion that the RaTG13 sequence was very likely fabricated. Whichever scenario is true, this finding undoubtedly strengthens the assertion, thank you, Seek the Truth, for these words, that the Wuhan coronavirus is. Reply nerd has power 4/16/2023 58 and 21 seconds PM a bioweapon made by the CCP. Reply alias 4/24/2027 51 and 18 seconds AM. It appeared that there have already been amino acid mutations, acquired during the spread of this virus in humans, that are located at this particular part of the S protein, found in the later samples of this virus which have mutated in humans since its Gnews spread about a month ago, further indication that such a part of the S protein can indeed tolerate changes and have started to change once it have been spreading intensively in humans, further proof of the unnatural origin of the original SARS-CoV-2 genomes, of which the protein sequences here are all identical with RaTG13. Nerd has power 4/25/2026 12 and 21 seconds AM. Thank you so much for sharing your finding. It is very powerful and strongly supporting the claim that the virus is man-made. List miss link 4/16/2026 31 and 3 seconds PM. Beijing tightens grip over coronavirus research, amid US-China row on virus origin. https://www.cnn.com/2020/04/12/Asia/China coronavirus research restrictions in HNK/index.html. Exactly, what are CCP trying to hide? The more CCP are trying to hide, the more they are actually exposing the origin of this lab-made CCP virus. We definitely need to investigate this thoroughly and hold CCP accountable for their virus. Otherwise, we don't even know how we die one day in the future with more evil virus CCP are so eager to develop. Reply nerd has power 4/17/2025 56 and 14 seconds AM. Completely agree. When we say the CCP is anti-human, we risk of understating its evilness. It used to be that not everybody believes this, because people are generally nice and probably never even tried to comprehend things of such evil nature. But now is the time that everybody be brought to the same page. The CCP must be held accountable. The world cannot afford having communism around any longer. Reply Chris 4/17/2023 26 and 39 seconds AM. Can I spread your text in France? Reply nerd has power 4/17/2026 10 and 11 seconds AM. Please do. I was disgusted by how some high-profile scientific publications misled people, intentionally or not. That's why I wrote this. I just want more people to know the truth. The more the better. Thank you for your efforts. We are doing the same things. Reply Paycheck Hosman 4/17/2020 10:11 and 36 seconds AM. I have checked your work by comparing it to the published sequences on by sources of the viruses and I couldn't find any mistake. I think the virus was pretty sure lab made. The mutations do not look natural at all, and I guess some virologists should study more, or they should not take money from the CCP. The shown and marked sequences at FVD 3 inches are striking, but there seem to be more obvious mutations. Here a link, https://photos.app.goo.gl/134swags6 and marked the strangest mutations in violet. Reply Nerd has power 4/18/2029 AM. Thank you very much for your efforts. There are indeed more mutations than what I have focused on describing. The reason I didn't discuss about all mutations is because I wasn't sure how the rest of them might be involved in the actual function. I'm pretty sure about the mutations I did talk about and highlight in terms of how they are important in function and might have been manipulated. There could be more manipulations than what I was able to detect, which may involve the additional strange mutations that you've marked out. But, again, I wanted to focus on things that are more solid and well supported. I don't want to include any less than convincing arguments because they may take advantage of those arguments to trash the whole article. Reply Paycheck Hosman 4/22/2021 57 and 8 seconds PM. Thank you for your appreciated answer. I absolutely agree to use your suggested sequences in your article to prove the claim of man-made manipulations. Maybe there comes out some evidence about the other strange changes later. Paycheck Hosman 4/17/2024 58 and 9 seconds PM. Here I have a link to the uploaded first 1501 positions of the sequences of Wuhan HU1, 2019 nCoV, BATCoV ZC45, BATCoV XK21, RaTG13 invention, SARS-GC02 and MERS in comparison to ECOTHER. https://drive.google.com/file/d/178m3rj9odd5zxp1qkz_pg56ltro/lk/view. Usequals sharing. Reply Jean-Claude Perez 4/20/2029 and 47 seconds PM. Greater than Jean-Claude Perez. 2020. Wuhan COVID-19 synthetic origins greater than and evolution. International Journal of Research, Granthilla, 82, 285-324, greater than https://doi.org/10.5281/zenodo.3724003. Reply Visitor 4/21/2027 12 and 2 seconds AM. Your article appeared to have been deleted. Could you please upload it again? Reply Perez 4/21/2027 48 and 22 seconds AM. Greater than Jean-Claude Perez. 2020. Wuhan COVID-19 synthetic origins greater than and evolution. International Journal of Research, Granthilla, 82. 285-324, greater than https://doi.org/10.5281/zenodo.3724003. Paycheck Hosman 4/22/2021 43 and 41 seconds PM. I couldn't open the link to the article of Mr. Perez too. But I think I've found a working link to his work. Here it is. https://zenodo.org/record/3724003 #xqkrchblxl. Nerd has power 4/23/2027 01 and 19 seconds AM. Dear Mr. Perez, thank you very much for sending your published work. I have to admit that the mathematics involved in your study is way beyond me. Although I am in agreement with your conclusion that the Wuhan coronavirus is a result of human manipulation, I'm completely disqualified to comment on this part of your study. I didn't look into the sequence similarity between certain spike regions of the Wuhan coronavirus and different HIV/CIV sequences that you identified. However, unfortunately, my blast search did not return confident results, mostly because the sequences are too short. I am inclined to believe that such level of sequence similarity is not a strong evidence of HIV/CIV sequences being inserted into the Wuhan coronavirus genome. Of course, my judgment here is completely up for debate. Reply Simon Diraher 4/21/2022 20 and 53 seconds AM. This is something that you may want to see. https://harvard.thebaghus.com/2020/01/31/logistical and technical analysis of the origins of the Wuhan coronavirus 2019 CoV/ also this. https://harvard.thebaghus.com/2020/03/23/ No monkey ever reheated a frozen burrito. What the expanzee tells us about the COVID-19 pandemic/ I found that the reference is quite convincing, though some of the references these two articles used have yet again forced to be withdrawn. CCP pressure, perhaps? https://www.cell.com/pbassets/journals/research/cell host/microbe/pdf'/chom_2285_preproved.pdf. It appears that one of the only animals that have been proven to produce viable infections of COVID-19 that is not a human are ferrets and tree shrews, both lab animals. And it require lab conditions for the animals to be infected in the first place, as there were no evidence anywhere a wild animal, or any animal that is outside a lab, to be confirmed to be infected at all. Which confirms the findings of https://www.bioarxiv.org/content/10.11012020.04.02508 apparently undergoing edits to incorporate more data from more animals, that confirms that the best animal hosts for the virus were indeed ferrets and tree shrews. And that all coronaviruses that target the human ACE2 receptor won't be able to form a good bond with the pangolin ACE2 receptor, indicating that such an RBD is incapable of infecting pangolins at all. https://pub.nlm.nih.gov/227234113/ also backed up by https://nsr/advanced-article/doi/10.1093/nsr/nwa036/5775463, which suggests the similarity are at best the result of convergent evolution, and a recombination of RaTG13 and one of the pangolin coverses would be at least 19.8 to 55.4 years ago. At least 2 times the evolutionary distance of RaTG13 to COVID-19, an estimate of 9-10 years, meaning that the alleged similarity was extremely unlikely due to the virus passing through pangolins at all. Serial passage within ferrets have been used to make the deadly H5N1 bird flu airborne in mammals, and the commenters suggest that all viruses that have been made to perform airborne transmission in ferrets are capable of equally powerful airborne transmission in humans. Further proof that the only human-like ACE2 receptors are found in the lab animals ferrets and tree shrews. https://www.sciencemag.org/news/2011/11/scientists brace media storm around controversial flu study s. Sialation of the proteins may also play a role, as suggested by https://www.nature.com/articles/S4158602-2179 year, which proves that one of the sialic acid residues on the human ACE2 receptor were used in the interaction between COVID-19 and ACE2. https://www.nkbi.nlm.nih.gov/pmc/articles/pmc10757006/ It appeared that the withdrawals were due to nature-killing articles that disfavors the CCP, though the accuracy of this is yet to be confirmed. https://www.insidehire.com/news/2018/10/03/book publishers part ways Springer Nature over concerness about censorship China. Reply nerd has power 4/23/2027 and 5 seconds am. Thank you for your work. What you have posted are all quality info in my opinion. Among them, the most intriguing is the link to ferrets and tree shrews. These really may have been the lab animals that they used in the course of selecting and improving viral strains, which should have followed their initial manipulation of the genome via molecular cloning. Reply John F. Cygnus 4/25/2024 45 and 51 seconds am. The nucleotide sequence coding for the E protein in bad CoV ZC45, ZXC21 and RaTG13 are exactly the same, indicative of an extremely well-conserved gene that have not seen a single mutation during the entire 5 years of divergent evolution across the two very distantly related viruses as indicated by the vast differences in the S protein. But curiously, the first sample of SARS-CoV-2 show 3 nucleotide substitutions within this gene, without changing the amino acid sequence, and newer examples of SARS-CoV-2 have shown amino acid substitutions within up to 4 different locations within this protein, in merely 3 months of human-to-human transfer. An indication of an extremely high mutation rate within the E gene, and the permissivity of the E protein toward changes in its amino acid sequence. The E protein of coronaviruses is on the inside of the viral envelope and is a structural protein. It cannot even make contact with host receptors and does not partition in interaction with host cellular proteins since its role is to line the inside of the mature virions, a place that is devoid of any host proteins. This means that the E gene play absolutely no role in host selection and virulence in specific hosts, and the mutation rate within this particular gene should be relatively constant across all coronaviruses. A survey of bat coronaviruses confirmed that this protein indeed tolerate large amount of changes across both bat hosts and human host SARS. So how did such a gene manage to not change a single nucleotide across the very distantly related ZC45/ZXC21 and RaTG13, code for the exact same protein in the very first sample of SARS-CoV-2, yet suddenly started to change in both the nucleotide sequence and the amino acid sequence it codes for once it's in a human host? Remember that the E protein in bad coronaviruses varies greatly across different strains, which mean that such changes could easily happen and be tolerated in a bat host. That mean that the mutation rates of the E gene are similar in both bats and humans, and this gene should not be as conserved as indicated by the sheer evolutionary distance between ZC45/ZXC21, RaTG13 and for the protein, SARS-CoV-2. Or alternatively, this feat could also easily be explained via molecular cloning of the ZX45/ZXC21E gene into the RaTG13 sequence, with subsequent codon optimization to generate the SARS-CoV-2 E protein sequences to look for and multi-Allen to confirm this discovery. Wuhan Hu1 ZC45ZXC21 AP040581.1 RSSHC014SC 2018 NP_8288541 SARS_GDO1BTRS/BetaCoV/Hub 2013 SARS_Exon1BM4831/BGR/2008 SARS_TWGD1 SARS_Sino1 11, QHZ00381.1 JAF42107.1 KIS60608.1 KIS14355.1 KAIU81527.1. Look for the full gene bank of the protein sequences and find the corresponding nucleotide sequence. In order to get the nucleotide sequence of the E genes for these viruses, nerd has power 4/25/202609 and 47 seconds am. Wow, powerful evidence. Thank you so much for sharing. I completely agree with your analysis. The E protein being identical among ZC45, ZXC21, RaTG13, and initial samples of SARS-CoV-2 is highly suspicious to begin with. Now amino acid changes in E protein have already been observed in such a short period of human-to-human transmission, it's just such a strong proof. John F. Cygnus 4/25/2020 10:30 and 36 seconds AM. Closer analysis of RaTG13 and ZC45 have also revealed that the identicality of the E gene on these two viruses being highly suspicious. The BLAST result page. Bat coronavirus RaTG13, complete genome sequence ID, MN996532.1 length, 29855 number of matches, 2 range 1 to 21563 GenBank graphics. Next match, previous match alignment statistics for match number 1 score. Expect identities gaps strand 26,679 bits 14,447 0.0 19,227 21,597 89% 80 21,597 0% plus query 16 agak 75 vertical bar SBJCT1 agak 60. From the comparison analysis, the similarity between RaTG13 and ZC45 is about 89% in the part of the viral genome where match have been found. There were parts that were not matched between these two viruses. Let's ignore all of these. The most conservative estimate, the hash of base pairs that were different equals 2159719227 equals 2370. The total query length is 29,855. The length of the E protein gene equals 75. There is no W within the gene, and the first codon August can't mutate. All other codons have an alternative codon that codes for the same A at the third location. 2 of the amino acids, L and R, can accept mutations at the first position without change of the AA sequence. Let's assume that the E protein somehow rejects all changes within its amino acid sequence. This gives a total of 74 positions where a substitution could land on. The chance of a single mutation from ZC45 greater than RaTG13 to not land on one of these silent locations equals 29,855 74/29855 equals 0.99752135. The total chance of all mutations from ZC45 to RaTG13 to not land on one of the sites equals 0.99752135 2370 equals 0.002790080.3%. This indicate that there is less than 0.3% at most 1.8% if the kind of anti-substitution is considered, of a chance that the nucleotide identity of ZC45 and RaTG13 was the result of natural evolution, which mean that this identity is extremely unlikely to be fortuitous. Nerd has power 4/28/2028 20 and 31 seconds AM. Thank you again for these excellent analyses. I looked at the nucleotide conservation myself for the E proteins. There are actually 2 single nucleotide substitutions between ZC45/ZXC21 and RaTG13, although they did not lead to amino acid changes. It's a small error, which of course does not alter your whole logic or conclusion. I am preparing an updated version of my article, which will likely be posted on a different platform. I would like to incorporate your finding on the E protein in that version. Please let me know whether it is okay. Of course, I would acknowledge you for observing this phenomena and providing your insightful analysis. Thank you. John F. Cygnus 4/29/2021 59 and 56 seconds AM. Did you use ZXC21? I am not aware of that sequence. I did a multalin on the sequence ZC45 and RaTG13 and the nucleotide sequences were exactly the same. If the 2 substitutions on the ZXC21/ZC45 RaTG13 were on the ZXC21 sequence, then it will be a more solid evidence that the RaTG13 end protein gene was a direct clone from ZC45. Further evidence that RaTG13 was unnatural. John F. Cygnus 4/29/2022 47 and 45 seconds AM. Sorry for the mistake. I think I compared the wrong sequence, with 2 nucleotide substitutions. With a strict standard on mutation rates, the chance of ZC45/ZXC21 to RaTG13 mutation being natural becomes 0.00218005 and 0.02067, assuming all other mutations are freely available. Considering the levels of protein sequence conservation across the rest of the sequences, which was to assume that the number of variable positions within the rest of the viral sequence being similar to that of the variability of the E protein itself as seen in other bad coronaviruses. However, this chance pummels to 0.99486921563 equals 0.000322228.
Well, of course, then we're dealing with chances, so that doesn't prove anything conclusively or beyond any reasonable doubt. It just makes it more likely. So I'd have to recheck if there's anything in here that is conclusive evidence, like I said. But at least there's evidences that point to the direction that it's probably bioengineered or an engineered virus, a bioweapon. Also, if you think that's not the case and it's easier to disprove all this, I'm curious to know your thoughts on this. Thank you for the other links, Tony. Some other videos, I might cover them in my next broadcast. There are lots of comments, so let's keep reading.
About 0.04%. Nerd has power 4/30/2027 and 39 seconds AM. Thank you for the update. Please don't apologize. Your analysis was brilliant. I'm still working on that updated version of the article. I will show a sequence alignment comparison by following your suggested strains. That, in combination with what you have described for E proteins, is very convincing. Silverfox 4/22/2021 27 and 10 seconds AM. I have read your analysis carefully and I do find that it stands completely. A few days ago, a new study appeared in preprint, https://www.medrxiv.org/content/10.11/0120.04.14.2006/016/0v1.full.pdf. In this study by Chinese researchers, it appears that the virus undergoes significant mutations at a fairly short rate. Some of these mutations appear to increase the aggressiveness of the virus. As I understand it, Li's team has detected more than 30 mutations. Of these, 19 mutations, about 60%, were new. They discovered that some of these mutations could cause functional changes in the virus's advanced protein, the unique structure above the viral envelope allowing the coronavirus to bind to human cells. A computer simulation predicted that these mutations would increase its infectivity. According to the words of Professor Luc Montagnier, 2008 Nobel Prize in Medicine, if the virus is a virus manipulated in the laboratory, it will quickly mutate on the portions of its RNA that have been modified because nature does not accept any changes. He considers this behavior to be further proof that the virus would have been manipulated. In view of this last study, what are your interpretations in relation to the analysis that you have carried out? Does this support your hypotheses? Reply Nerd has power 4/23/2027 37 and 36 seconds AM. Thank you for your comments. I was made aware of Dr. Li's work, although I did not get to read it in full. I think her work is very relevant in developing therapeutic and treatment strategies, which may or may not hint the origin of the virus. My 2 cents. Reply refrag link 4/23/2021 14 and 26 seconds AM. Sir, you have only shown that a stretch of amino acids of S1 looks like copied from the SARS spike protein and then pasted into the Wuhan coronavirus. Don't you think that, to confirm your hypothesis, You should verify that the same does not hold true for the S1 segment from other species. Reply nerd has power 4/23/2028 and 53 seconds AM. Thank you. It's a very good question. Most coronaviruses don't contain this copy, pasted piece in their S1. The exceptions are SARS, of course, and about 2 SARS-like bat viruses. However, none of these SARS-like viruses copy, paste this critical piece as precisely as what's seen in the Wuhan coronavirus. Residues important for SARS spike/ACE2 interaction all preserved, conserved, and changes only occur at non-essential locations. More importantly, this copy, paste is striking because it is in stark contrast with how the rest of the genome match between Wuhan coronavirus and the template coronaviruses, ZC45 and ZXC21. Such level of genome-wide similarity is not observed between Wuhan coronavirus and any of the SARS-like coronaviruses that contain a similar copy, pasted critical piece. Again, the template coronaviruses are discovered, published, and owned only by the military research lab of the CCP. Hope I'm making myself clear. Reply MZ12344/24/2020 12:40 and 39 seconds AM. A leading Russian microbiologist has claimed the coronavirus is the result of Wuhan scientists doing absolutely crazy things in their laboratory. World-renowned expert Professor Petr Chumakov claimed their aim was to study the pathogenicity of the virus and not with malicious intent to deliberately create a man-made killer. Professor Chumakov, chief researcher at the Engelhardt Institute of Molecular Biology in Moscow, said, in China, scientists at the Wuhan laboratory have been actively involved in the development of various coronavirus variants for over 10 years. Moreover, they did this, supposedly not with the aim of creating pathogenic variants, but to study their pathogenicity. They did absolutely crazy things, in my opinion. For example, inserts in the genome, which gave the virus the ability to infect human cells. Now all this has been analyzed. The picture of the possible creation of the current coronavirus is slowly emerging. He told Moskovsky Komsomolets newspaper, there are several inserts, that is, substitutions of the natural sequence of the genome, which gave it special properties. It is interesting that the Chinese and Americans who worked with them published all their works in the open, scientific, press. I even wonder why this background comes to people very slowly. I think that an investigation will nevertheless be initiated, as a result of which new rules will be developed that regulate the work with the genomes of such dangerous viruses. It's too early to blame anyone, he said. The Chinese scientists created variants of the virus without malicious intent, possibly aiming for an HIV vaccine. Reply list missed 4/24/2020 11:08 and 13 seconds PM. Well, https://www.newsmax.com/neversov/China Biological Russia /2009/17/it/33504/2/ written over 10 years ago speaks well regarding whether the Chinese scientists created variants of the virus with or without malicious intent. Reply nerd has power 4/25/2025 46 and 13 seconds AM. Thank you. I obviously agree that this virus is a result of human manipulation. However, I don't think this Russian expert should so confidently say that they did it without malicious intent. In my opinion, the evidence speaks the opposite. Reply refrag link 4/24/2021 38 and 5 seconds PM. Thank you, sir. Anyway, I have found this recent article, https://www.nature.com/articles/s4158602 to 2179 year. What do you think about? Reply nerd has power 4/25/2026 33 and 27 seconds AM. Thank you for bringing up this article. It actually proves two of my predictions. First, it proves that the S1 of the Wuhan coronavirus, SARS-CoV-2 as everyone else prefers, binds ACE2 the same way as SARS S1 does. I predicted this by just looking at the sequence comparison. As I mentioned in the article, There appears to be a well-plotted copying of a critical piece in S1 of SARS and then pasting it into a template virus to create the S1 of SARS-CoV-2. Second, this Nature paper proves that the S1 of the RaTG13 virus can indeed bind ACE2, so the RaTG13 virus, if indeed exists, should be able to infect humans. I said in my article that Zhengli needed to take one little peek at the sequence of RaTG13 and realize at once that this virus has the potential to infect humans. There is no reason that she should let this thing sit for 7 years and only decided to publish its sequence once the outbreaks took place. Note, the RaTG13 S1 gene used in this Nature article was synthesized, not obtained from Zhengli. They have been collaborators in the past, a proof of my other claim. She does not have a physical copy of the RaTG13 virus. Reply Nota A4/25/2022 51 and 35 seconds AM from the comment section of this article, https://www.virology.ws/2020/02/20/pangolins and the origin of SARS-CoV-2 coronavirus / regarding the mysterious sequence RaTG13, and the hint that I should look closer at the sequence KP876546 that is cited in the article, X, Wang, N, Zhang, W. et al. Coexistence of multiple coronaviruses in several bat colonies in an abandoned mine shaft, Viral, Sen. 31, 31-40, 2016. https://doi.org/10.1000/S1225001637113-9. The sequence KP876546 in NCBI is very short, only 370 BP, and is defined as Rhinophis bat coronavirus BT-CoV/4991 partial RNA-dependent RNA polymerase. This sequence is also analyzed in the article Characterization of a new member of alpha coronavirus with unique genomic features in Rhinophis bats https://doi.org/10.3390/V1104037 I blasted the KP876546 sequence in NCBI and I got 100% identities with RaTG13 and 99% identities with MT039890 severe acute respiratory syndrome coronavirus 2 isolates New 01, complete genome, South Korea. Next closer sequence not from SARS-CoV-2 is the pangolin sequence MT084071. To my opinion, the sequence KP876546 could be the first evidence of the RaTG13 sequence or a sequence even closer to SARS-CoV-2. In Jet al., it is stated that the 370 BP sequence was prolonged of 816 BP and the spike protein was sequenced, but this information for this sample has been not made public. I have found a publication on the comparison of KP876546 with SARS-CoV-2 before that RaTG13 was submitted to NCBI. Liang Junchen, Wangliu, Qizhang, Xu, Guangmingyi, Weigan Wu, Xiang Sun, Fengliu, Kailang Wu, Bozong, Yi Mai, Wenxia Zhang, Yu Chen, Yirong Li, Mengxi, Glan and Yingli 2020. RNA-based MNGS approach identifies a novel human coronavirus from 2 individual pneumonia cases in 2019 Wuhan outbreak, emerging microbes and infections, 9-1, 313-319, doi, 10.1080222175.2020.1725399. The author writes that further sequencing of the corresponding PCR product, from SARS-CoV-2, surprisingly suggested that the virus discovered is more closely related to BT-CoV/4991, KP876546 97.35%, but not SARS-CoV. The genomes of the 2019 nCoV were further analyzed to determine its origin and evolutionary history. Full genome comparisons indicated that 2019 nCoV is close to CoV versus circulating in Rhinophis, horseshoe bats. For example, It shared 98.7% nucleotide identity to bat coronavirus strain BT-CoV/4991, GenBank KP876546, only 370 NT sequence of RDRP gene, and 87.9% nucleotide identity to bat-CoV strain BAT/SLKIVSK45 and BAT/SLKOVSK21, indicating that it was quite divergent from the currently known human CoV, including SARS-CoV, 79.7%. The close relationship with BT-CoV/4991 is quite essential in tracing the potential reservoir host of 2019 nCoV. Unfortunately, the BT-CoV/4991 sequence was only partial, 373 bpm length, and thus no comparisons can be made for the rest of genomes. In the article, Zhu, P, Yang, X, Wang, X, et al., an ammonia outbreak associated with a new coronavirus of probable bat origin, Nature 579, 270-273, 2020. https://doi.org/10.1038/S4158602020112-7. Where for the first time RaTG13 appears, it is written. We then found a short RDRP region from a bat coronavirus termed BAT-CoV-RAG13, which we previously detected in Rhinolepis affinis from Yunnan province, showed high sequence identity to nCoV 2019. We did full-length sequencing to this RNA sample. Simplot analysis shows that nCoV 2019 was highly similar throughout the genome to RAG13, with 96.2% overall genome sequence identity. Interestingly, the article of Jet al. is not part of the bibliography of this work. To my opinion, further sequencing of KP876546 was so interesting that the results were kept secret, and manipulations of this virus was carried over until the outbreak of SARS-CoV-2. Reply nerd has power 4/25/2026 am. Thanks for sharing. Whoever made the comment has captured something very interesting, which successfully eluded the public's attention. There seems to be a reason that Zhengli she does not bring this up herself. She would struggle to explain it one way or the other. Again, great catch. Reply hydride 4/25/2020 12:19 and 20 seconds PM bits and pieces. RAG13 used for gene assembly, the optimized to get SARS-CoV-2. How could an RDRP from an alpha coronavirus, phylogenetic distance so high that even recombination, require homologous sequences flanking the RNA fragment closing parenthesis was considered impossible with beta coronaviruses, wind up in a natural bad beta coronavirus? Further evidence that RAG13 was unnatural. Reply Brian 5/7/2021 56 and 43 seconds PM. Great find. This is real evidence that RAG13 did exist prior to 2020 and wasn't completely made up. Reply Nota A4/26/2027 54 and 47 seconds AM. Something is moving. https://projectevidence.github.io, https://isf.io/way89d/ https://medium.com/@urigene/labmade-CoV2 genealogy through the lens of gain of function research F96DD7413748. Reply nerd has bore 4/26/2027 47 and 23 seconds PM. Thanks for sharing. The more we dig, the more people digging it, the sooner we will get to the bottom of this. We are moving along. Reply refrag link 4/26/2028 06 and 3 seconds AM. Sir, thank you for your patience and consideration. I have a few questions. First, that the S1 of the SARS-CoV-2 binds ACE2 the same way as SARS S1, or as the S1 segment from other species, not only bats, does not prove that binding is necessarily infectious. For example, does SARS-CoV infect humans? Second, isn't the fact that the high-level identity for most part of the genome with that of bat coronaviruses is not maintained in the S1 segment of the Wuhan coronavirus only a proof of how nature has learned to preserve the ability to bind ACE2? whatever random mutation or recombination may take place. Others seem convinced that SARS-CoV-2 might be a recombinant virus between viruses closely related to SARS-CoV-2 and pangolin SARS-CoV-MP789/Guangdong/2019. Indeed, coronaviruses have been shown to have a high frequency of recombination. Adverb Virus Res, Volume 48, pages 100, 1997. Their tendency for recombination and high mutation rates may allow them to adapt to new hosts and ecological niches, including natural recombination in coronavirus associated with human infection. Last, but not least, you suspect that a colleague of yours has only recently published a paper about RaTG13 infectiousness, of which she was aware 7 years ago, which has no other explanation than her involvement in spike protein engineering. How could she know that without having checked human infection? Reply Nicholas V. Thartkins 4/26/2029 31 and 18 seconds AM, translated from the Chinese section of this blog, originally by Dithanite. The problem with MP789, GenBank MT084071.1, was that the MP789 sequence was incomplete. A quick check in the GenBank revealed 1872 nucleotides, 1872-27989 equals 6.69% of total, that are marked as N, or nucleotides that are unknown. This incompleteness means that actual, live examples of the MP789 coronavirus does not exist, and what they do have is just the incomplete metagenomic data, submitted at February 13, 2020 and couldn't have actually been sequenced 1 month earlier, after the outbreak. Impossible to rule out sample contamination, especially if SARS-CoV-2 was used as the template for its reconstruction. Secondly, there were the GX pangolin CoVs, of which the complete sequence are available within GenBank, with RBDs of the same length as MP789 and SARS-CoV-2, but with different critical amino acid residues. Fig.3, on the place where the RBD binds ACE2, with a consensus sequence of Daltony_Lerl_for especially for the form major difference between the two. SARS/MP789 greater than GX_P1E/P5E/P4L/P5L/P2VLI446 XSD499 RQY503 HG509N, of which will cause either electrostatic repulsion or steric clash that would prevent the proper binding of SARS-CoV-2 or MP789 RBD to the pangolin ACE2 receptor. This sequence is only about 78% similar with that of SARS-CoV-2, 76% similar with RaTG13, as substitution mutations are all that is needed to change the binding affinity for an receptor when the length of the RBD domain was the same. The existence of a consensus sequence between actual pangolin coverses that are very different with MP789 imply that the actual RBD sequences that can bind to the pangolin ACE2 receptor would be not very different from the consensus sequence of the GX pangolin CoVs for ACE2 RBDs of this length. As the sequence we seen in MP789 or SARS-CoV-2 differs greatly from the consensus sequence between 5 different complete pangolin CoV sequences that have actual samples of the virus, and since there were computational analysis, https://www.bioexif.org/content/10.11012020.04.02508ov1.article info that have concluded that coronavirus ACE2 RBDs that binds optimally to humans, such like RaTG13 or SARS-CoV-2, binds to the pangolin ACE2 receptor very poorly, and much less than that of ferrets or tree shrews. We could safely say that the MP789 RBD will not bind optimally to the pangolin ACE2 receptor, implying that the MP789 sequence was either contaminated, or was the result of fabrication. Sequences of SARS-CoV-2, MP789, RaTG13 and the GX pangolin coverses are available for multiline analysis below. Greater than SARS_CoV_2 greater than MP789 for Nicholas V. Thartkins 4/26/2020 10:03 and 15 seconds AM especially L449K, of which a major steric clash from the much longer lysine side chain would shave off at minimum 150 kJ per mole of binding affinity of MP789/SARS-CoV-2 to the pangolin ACE2 receptor, bringing the affinity from 699 kJ per mole typically seen in coronaviruses to its native host ACE2, down to at most 550 kJ per mole. Burying the charges at R449S and H503Q would knock down another 20 kJ per mole, clash at H503Q would shave off another 50 kJ per mole, and Del/I446X would probably lose another 4 kJ per mole, bringing the pangolin ACE2 affinity down to about 480 kJ per mole, less than even the RaTG13, which have an affinity of 504.76 kJ per mole and are considered not being able to use pangolins as a host in vivo. Not a single chance that the alleged MP789 or SARS-CoV-2 could possibly infect a pangolin at all. Nerd has power 4/26/2028 31 and 24 seconds PM. Thank you so much. Great translation and analysis. Nicholas V. Thartkins 4/30/2025 22 and 44 seconds AM. The units should be kcal per mole, not kJ per mole. Rafrag link 4/26/2022 31 and 47 seconds PM. Line 8 of my last comment proof reads proof. Reply nerd has power 4/26/2028 27 and 43 seconds PM. I will try to answer each one of your questions. First, binding data alone certainly does not mean that the RaTG13 virus is actually infectious toward human, but it speaks strongly for such a possibility or potential. That's what she was claiming to chase after, things that have the potential to cross over to humans. The fact that the authors in this Nature paper tested the binding between RaTG13 RBD and human ACE2 indicated that this potential is nothing but legitimate. Second, you are talking about convergent evolution leading to different viral strains, SARS-CoV-2 and SARS, for example, preserving the same critical motifs for binding human ACE2. It is a true phenomena in evolution. If we are only comparing SARS and SARS-CoV-2, we may very comfortably suggest that the two ended up having similar RBD motifs due to convergent evolution. Other parts of the genomes differ quite a lot too between the two, which is consistent with convergent evolution. But here, we are comparing ZC45 and SARS-CoV-2, Wuhan coronavirus, which share high sequence identity overall and clearly share a recent common ancestor. I'm saying the evolution events that separate these two lineages cannot be random mutation. Convergent evolution occurs through random mutation, many rounds of random mutation. Hope I'm making this point clear. Now this brings to your next point, could recombination be responsible? I have detailed my reasoning about this in the article. However, you mentioned a scenario that I excluded from my analysis, recombination between RaTG13 and pangolin coronavirus. Unfortunately, an important part of my article was to disapprove both of these as valid, credible scientific evidence. You may look back at the comments I made on April 16 to see additional evidence of RaTG13 being very likely fabricated. Nicholas also kindly translated info on some additional evidence against the credibility of the pangolin coronavirus. Finally, I don't have any colleagues who are involved in the publication. I meant the authors of the Nature paper that you brought up used to collaborate with Zhengli. If RaTG13 is a real virus, these authors could very conveniently obtain a copy of the gene from Xi. However, they chose to synthesize the gene instead. Again, Xi does not need to know whether this RaTG13 can or cannot infect humans to decide to work on it. She only needs to recognize such a potential, which is very apparent in this case. Reply nerd has power 4/26/2020 10:20 and 24 seconds PM. Forgot to comment on the high frequency of recombination in coronavirus. Yes, it is a true fact. However, that does not mean that any type of change in coronavirus evolution is reasonable. I did the best I can to explain how I think recombination is unlikely to lead to the weird pattern of sequence similarity between SARS-CoV-2 and ZC45/ZXC21. Anyone can of course make up his her own mind on this claim. Again, please check the comment made on April 16. That one, in my opinion, is a very strong evidence. Reply Metabajulfite 4/26/2028 15 and 33 seconds AM https://www.bioexif.org/content/10.110120.927v1.full.pdf The alleged claim of HIVGP120 and gag inserts in SARS-CoV-2. By performing a PDB analysis, 3JWD, Fornco, of the HIVGP120 protein, it seems that the first and second insert, V4 and V5 variable regions, form the CCR5 binding site of the original HIV1GP120 protein. The same study have also indicated that the three inserts are tightly clustered together on the corners of the S protein in a separate domain that is located before the ACE2 RBD. In addition, the high and uniform pi 11,10 and 10.84 of all three inserts appeared to indicate that these three inserts formed a binding site for a specific protein co-receptor. Considered that the HIV-V1 binds CD4, V4 and V5 binds CCR5, and the fact that this virus can enter immune cells, it appeared that these three inserts have indeed imparted HIV-1-like function to the SARS-CoV-2. May need further verification. Reply Metabajulfite 4/26/2028 22 and 55 seconds AM Also, Larinlimab, a CCR5 antagonist, seems to work well for treating COVID-19. https://www.clinicaltrialserena.com/news/cytodine Larinlimab COVID-19 second trial/ Reply Nerd has power 4/26/2028 42 and 40 seconds PM Thank you for your comments. I have answered this in the Chinese section, I believe. I am actually skeptical whether there are any https://www.clinicaltrialserena.com/news/cytodine Larinlimab COVID-19 second trial/ Thank you for your comments. I have answered this in the Chinese section, I believe. I am actually skeptical whether there are any insertions of HIV sequences in the SARS-CoV-2 genome. I have read this preprint article when it first came out and was not convinced by the evidence within. According to my own blasting, those inserted pieces do not necessarily come from HIV. Reply Kathy 4/26/2028 31 and 31 seconds AMKP 876546 is a SARS-related beta coronavirus. I guess RaTG13 equals R equals Rhinoliphosa equals Affinis TG equals total genomic 13 equals 2013 sequence. Interesting new article. https://www.researchgate.net/publication/340924249_considering_a_genetic manipulation_origin_for_SARS-CoV-2 SARS-CoV-2 -a_theory_that_must_be_censored. Got already a bad comment here. https://fluttrackers.com/forum/the pandemic discussion forum/824572 discussion Chinese Academy of Sciences CAS in Wuhan has been working with bats and coronavirus for many years. DNA manipulatio ns cloning/page 4 #post 854139. Reply Nerd has power 4/28/2028 37 and 23 seconds AM Thank you for sharing these. Reply Silverfox 4/27/2020 11:42 and 20 seconds PM Hi again, I read every day comment on your article, and I really appreciate your analyze. Then I would like to submit you a new article, from Jean-Claude Perez and Luc Montagnier published in preprint on April 26. https://isf.io/d9e5g/. This article seems to confirm, As the precedent article from Perez https://www.researchgate.net/publications/339331507_SARS-CoV-2 that there's less and less chances that this virus is natural. As predicted previously, the portions of the RNA code who are mutating faster than the rest of the genome are precisely the exogenous informative elements. Did you read it? What do you think? Reply nerd has power 4/28/2028 46 and 53 seconds AM. Thank you for sharing these articles. Unfortunately, I have been a little busy the last few days and did not get to read them. Hopefully I will get to later this week. I may not be able to offer much insights though because I don't have the proper knowledge in Mr. Perez's research area and methods. Reply nerd has power 5/3/2026 34 and 2 seconds AM. Sorry for the delayed response. I did get to read Mr. Perez's work here. It's different from the one he shared with us earlier. Although I'm in agreement with Mr. Perez on the conclusion that the Wuhan coronavirus is of a synthetic origin, I again would have to admit that I'm not the best person to judge such an article. Based my limited knowledge, I would say that the sequences suspected as insertions are all on the shorter end, which tend to make things inconclusive in terms of where, HIV or other origins, they could be from. I did find the higher mutational rate of the E's over the whole genome very interesting. This could be a sign of artificial manipulation. On the other hand, it seems to me that these E's are located within ORF1b and the spike regions. Correct me if I'm wrong as I'm not 100% sure I have this right. I believe.
I think that the people posting in this comment section on nerdhaspower.weebly.com, most of them know what they're talking about, and I haven't seen any comment yet totally dismissing this claim and saying no, that's impossible because blah blah blah. So that's another reason I thought, well, let's just make a video about this.
That these two regions of the coronavirus genome do tend to see higher frequency of mutations. This could just be a natural trait of coronavirus evolution. Of course, this may also mean that this bioweapon did not go through exhaustive optimization passage before being put on the real mission and therefore is now adapting to the new host. Reply Tholix 4/28/2024 15 and 24 seconds AM. https://www.researchgate.net/publications/3478642/8_COVID-19_its_pandemic_its_origin_and_its_core peer-reviewed article about the origin of the coronavirus. The same author.
Well, with that software they had 10 years ago of Oracle, Daylight and Promise, they can, with Daylight and Promise, these two software pieces, these two softwares, I mean, they can predict all possible mutations. So we don't have to worry about that.
Have purposed a working serum therapy that have saved lives during the early outbreak in Wuhan. A therapy that includes the extraction of neutralizing polyclonal antibodies from recovered patients, which could be conceivably cloned to generate both a working vaccine and a viable cure. Reply nerd has power 4/28/2028 49 and 6 seconds AM. Thank you for sharing the info. Reply Anna Salinas 5/1/2025 32 and 23 seconds AM. Hi nerd has power. I would like to talk to you a little further. Would you give me your mail? Thanks in advance. Reply nerd has power 5/3/20 53 seconds AM. Do you mind sharing your thoughts here in the comments section? I would prefer public discussions. The communications here have been great, thank you. Reply edx 5/1/2027 and 27 seconds AM. I did the homology-based modeling analysis on the MP789 RBD and the pangolin ACE2 receptor. In order to ensure the free energy calculations are limited to binding energies only, chimeric HOS2/PACE2 receptors are constructed using homology-based modeling, by swapping out the sequence of the part of the HOS2 protein that binds the ACE2 RBD with that of the PACE2 protein. Similarly, chimeric MP789 RBD is constructed by swapping out the receptor binding motif RBM of the SARS-CoV-2 RBD with the sequence from MP789. The Rosetta-based software, Foldit, was used for the docking and the modeling of the interaction. The proteins are docked and the free energies of the resulting complex were minimized. Before a total free energy reading was taken, the following are the result, in Rosetta energy units ρ, of the total free energy of 3 protein complexes, SARS-CoV-2 ACE2 RBD plus HOS2 equals 522.530 chimeric MP789 ACE2 RBD plus chimeric PACE2 equals 498.16 as a control. The total free energy of SARS-CoV-2 and HOS2, when separated, is calculated to be minus 502.69 RU. Since the canonical binding free energy of the SARS-CoV-2 RBD to HOS2 was determined to be 904.76 kcal per mole, https://www.bioarxiv.org/content/10.110120.04.020.02508 and the Rosetta energy unit scales only with total molecular mass and number of residues within a protein, of which were the same across 2 different experiments. The scale of the RU for this particular experiment was determined to be 904.76/522.419-502.690 equals 45.85 kcal per mole. Using the scale obtained from the control experiment calculation, the binding energy between MP789 RBD and PACE2 was calculated to be 498.16 minus 502.690 equals 4.53 RU equals plus 207.7005 plus 500 kcal per mole, with a maximum binding affinity of 293.2995 kcal per mole and a minimum binding energy of plus 707.7005 kcal per mole. None of which could lead to in vivo infection as indicated with the same computational study using BAT_CoV as a control on the HOS2 receptor. A positive binding free energy indicate that the proteins will not dock. The dramatically different binding residue pattern of the pangolin ACE2 receptor would have excluded the SARS-CoV-2 RBD, or even more so, the MP789 RBD is the hydrogen bonding between a binding site aspartate residue with Q503 of SARS-CoV-2 was abolished when the longer glutamine side chain is relaced with the shorter histidine side chain. From closer structural analysis, it turned out that a major clash between Y513 of SARS-CoV-2/MP789 and a histidine residue of the pangolin ACE2 receptor where a glycine was present in the human ACE2 receptor at the location, along with the abolishment of 2,3 of counting Q503H, of the 4 major interactions between the HOS2 and SARS-CoV-2 in M789/PACE2. Completely abolishes binding of the MP789/SARS_CoV_2 ACE2 RBD to the pangolin ACE2 receptor. The PACE2 sequence used for the analysis, greater than XP_0175055752.1 predicted, angiotensin converting enzyme 2, Manus javanica, Mskvslavavtex zdikt fukfncelc/nien nitdenvkmvegkustvi exkiaknikliknikmti kraklkaklskslasadgen slipkolgnimeskdinrelwegersvklarplai evoknimrenhedig directia egananistrladviftkikplai overklumnipshistkklopogmurfnulapeltfuknivtdamdenrivkikfsvklopkmskfnsmult gregvchtadhadlgtfrkmtskivtmfoltehamgagermjankbelgankvivgmslaset kluknikloptvidnerdien webftetik beslofwend is fireetertik kieltekebuk disensiek klikmusselgskplanifaplotwikinkensvkundspieksik risks jkane semialfrisfien. Exons FG Adam 5/2/2027 18 and 54 seconds AM https://drive.google.com/open. It equals 1 P 58P1 MVSF4X. I have currently submitted this article to preprints.org and other bioarchive.org disproving both RaTG13 and MP789. Reply Chris 5/2/2020 10:52 and 18 seconds AM. Thank you. Tell us if the paper is accepted or not. Thanks. Reply Xens FG Adam 5/2/2020 6:59 and 29 seconds PM. Sorry, but bioarchive.org have rejected my paper, citing that it should be submitted on a peer-reviewed journal instead of on bioarchive. Can you send the Google Drive file to luke.montagnier@hotmail.com so he could issue a review? Nerd has power 5/3/2027 51 and 28 seconds AM. Thank you for posting it here too. Great work. Too bad that they turn it down at bioarchive. I saw some other preprints on this place, zenodo.org. Maybe you can give it a try here? Reply Xens FG Adam 5/5/2020 4:30 and 13 seconds AM https://zenodo.org/record/3786451 Thank you so much. Sorry that I can't show my name here. This is now a preprint. Nerd has power 5/7/2029 55 and 17 seconds AM. That's great. Congrats on the preprint, thank you for doing it. JC on a bike link 5/2/2021 52 and 45 seconds PM. I'd love to discuss this with you. I would love to make a video summarizing your take. It's very similar to mine and others. Harvard 2 The Bike House has done some of the first coverage in January. I did some videos exploring papers cited by Dan, and here we are now months later. Please, if you are interested in working with me, I'll be making a commentary on this work this week. https://b/hmscmb8nds4. Be well, JC on a bike. Reply Nerd has power 5/3/2027 35 and 8 seconds AM. Great video. I love the concept of journal club on a bike. You properly shattered that Nature Medicine paper. It would be great if you could summarize this write-up in a journal club video. I also have an updated version with some significant additions. It's published on a platform named https://ns.org/192144/. I will likely post the updated article here too, as the one on NS had a little too many editing errors unfortunately. Let me know if you want to discuss anything further. Thank you. Reply Idristil 5/2/2020 10:09 and 2 seconds PM. You may want to check this as well. https://medium.com/@yourigene/labmadecop2 genealogy through the lens of gain of function research F96DD7413748. In it you will find they linked a 2019 Chinese study that added furin cleavage sites through an off-the-shelf kit method. Apparently it is very easy to do. The study, https://www.nlam.nih.gov/pmc/articles/pmc6832359/ inserted into live chicken virus. The Medium post goes into great detail in showing that published research demonstrates the capacity to complete each form of edit necessary for this kind of lab-based recombination. Reply Nerd has power 5/3/2020 05 and 49 seconds AM. Thank you for sharing these info. I love the article written by RaTG13. It's so thorough, rich in information, and in the end convincing. Although I'm already convinced, I learned quite a lot of details and side stories reading it. The only thing I would be picky about is that he was too scientific in his discussions and did not properly factor in how evil the CCP can be. It's certainly not Yuri's fault. The CCP certainly want to and can make bioweapons. They are also professional on covering things up, using all sorts of resources. Here they chose to use, among other things, fake science, RaTG13, pangolin coronaviruses, Nature Medicine paper by Anderson and Lipkin, etc. Reply ITER still 5/5/2022 hours and 39 seconds PM. Some other science community commentary on the original Nature Anderson, et al. paper, https://www.mwatch.org/n/news/latest news/19387 and other expert challenges assertions SARS-CoV-2 was not genetically engineered. This in particular cites a method for creating a large number of spike protein candidates using a phage display library, https://gmwatch.org/n/news/latest news/19383. Note how Nature refused to publish the challenge. Nerd has power 5/3/2020 and 17 seconds PM. As you may have noticed, there are new pages added to this site. I just published an updated version of the earlier article on NS, a great news platform created by the heroic Miles Kwok. However, there were quite a few editing errors of mine's article, so I'm posting this updated article here too. RaTG13 is fake. This new version benefited tremendously from the insightful comments made here, especially by Eleanor D. Allens and John F. Cygnus. I have acknowledged their contributions at the end. Thank you. Reply Vienna Cages 5/3/2026 59 and 55 seconds PM. A takedown on the recent study claiming that the furin site may have been from H9 through co-infection http://virological.org/t/tackling rumors of a suspicious origin of nCoV 2019/384/4 The H9 isolate were found in Guangdong province in 2011 thousands of miles away from Yunnan where they allegedly claim to have started. Bats does not migrate. No way that H9 could have traveled there. The RBD from H9 belonged to the kind that will not infect humans. Not a chance that it could form a viable infection in humans for the recombination to occur. About potential recombination should the H9 claim of a template selection error to be valid, especially since the non-orphaned random 11 mer of the claimed insert sequence are literally found all over biology. We should have seen bat-borne coronaviruses of lineage B with inserts at the S1-S2 junction all over the place in nature. More specifically, a variant of H9 with the exact insert should have already been detected in bats, should such an insert confers evolutionary advantage in the bat host. But there were not a single bat lineage B beta coronavirus that have been discovered with an insert at the S1-S2 junction. Not a single lineage B isolate from a previously detected source that have a number of amino acids other than 6 between Y673 and R681/684, including RMNO2. In addition, a furin site have never been observed within the S1-S2 junction in lineage B beta coronaviruses other than SARS-CoV-2, even the kind that would arise from a single nucleotide substitution as in the lineage of coronavirus, the MERS-CoV. This proves that the bat host, or any wild animals in that matter, will not tolerate a sequence linked at the CS2 junction other than 6 amino acids, and a furin site is certainly not tolerated at the location for anything that exists in the wild. One of the probable reasons may be that such a cleavage would separate the S1 and S2 of the spike protein in a wild animal. The more robust immune system of wild animals, with the kind of antibody that were found in bats, in comparison to the immunocompromised conditions found in cell or lab passage, will pry the S1 off the S protein should it exit the cell pre-cleaved, disabling the virus and stopping such lineages as soon as it emerged. Such an observation would also be consistent with the general observation that no animals are capable of transmitting the virus outside of lab conditions, without intentional inoculation. This would have excluded the bat, intermediate host recombination theory. A recombinant virus with a furin site at the S1-S2 junction will not be able to survive in any animals other than a human, at most past a single host. A virus that cannot survive in its original host, without a perfectly optimized RBD at least as good as in SARS-CoV, that would allow immediate direct human-to-human transmission. Since neither HKU9S1 nor RaTG13S1 have been proved to show infectivity for humans in vivo, such a virus is orphaned and will just fizzle out, without any possibility to transmit any further. Also, don't forget that they are only able to deduce 10 out of the 12 nucleotides within the insert G9 KIT-TCOGA, CCTCGGCGGCCTCTGT, COV2 TATKGACTKGACTTG Court CCTCGGCGGC AGTAGT apostrophe is what they claim to be the insert in compared to RaTG13, which was very likely invalid, while is the part they have claimed to find in G9 there were an entirety of 5 nucleotides, 2 of which were found in the PRRA insert, that were orphaned and not found in the G9 source. So in order for this particular virus, which couldn't infect a bat anymore due to the intolerance toward insertions at the S1-S2 junction in lineage B beta coronaviruses in a bat host, to even survive and then come up with a PRRA furin insert at the location, it would have to immediately find the other 2 missing nucleotides through insertion, an additional chance of 1/29,855. 2 times 42 equals 114,261,136,400 for a piece of RNA that were now broken and would be deader than a doornail in the bat cell that the template selection error allegedly happened. So far we have excluded the intra-animal recombination theory. Now could this have happened in a co-infection within a human host? The RBD of the BAT9 have not been proved to bind to the human ACE2 receptor, nor does its sequence suggest that it could do, of which the only sequence that is capable of doing so for a bat virus is that of RaTG13, and the ACE2 receptor of a bat is very distant from that of a human no matter what kind of in vitro data they may get for isolated, Vero E6, not even human, cells without an immune system. A bat virus cannot infect a human in vivo. Inoculation in the bloodstream to cause an immune response as in a vaccine, yes, actual infection as entry into human cells, number, and there were no concerns about a recombinant supervirus arising from live vaccine inoculation because it can't enter human cells. Could it be ZC45/ZXC21 and G9 in WHO? Reply via Nakages 5/3/2027:01 and 8 seconds PM. Could it be ZC45/ZXC21 and G9 in humans? According to Figure 3, the RBM of ZC45 and ZXC21 are broken. They will never be able to bind HOS2, and will not enter a human cell in the wild. So the other pieces of the puzzle. The only confirmed wild virus with the exact T protein as in SARS-CoV-2 other than RaTG13 are ZC45/ZXC21. From phylogenetic analysis we have already established that neither inserts nor furin sites at the S1-S2 junction is tolerated in lineage B beta coronaviruses in a bat or a wild animal, so the only place this could have taken place is within a human cells of which ZC45/ZXC21 can't get into. Again, not possible. Could it be RaTG13? According to the analysis done by Leonard D. Allens and the newer article here, the sheer discrepancy of sense vs silent mutations between RaTG13 and SARS-CoV-2 mean that if one is natural, the other must not be. If RaTG13 is valid, then SARS-CoV-2 is definitely engineered from it, case closed. If RaTG13 is invalid, then the only RBD in bat caves that could enter a human cell just vanished, leaving any S1-S2 insert and furin site containing reject coronaviruses, that could no longer spread and evolve within its original host unless it drops the insert immediately, without the necessary RBD for it to enter the only host where it can survive and thrive, the humans. Additional bat viruses to confirm that an S1-S2 insert is not tolerated in any lineage B beta coronaviruses that uses bats or wild animals as a host. as 00003.1 av 49723.1 av 78042.1 av 78031.1834755.1816716.1834812.1 as 41329.1834812.1834722.1 aka 3105.1. 8.1 auto 98169.1 UBD 75332.1 UCH 60703.1 QDF 43835.1 ECA 31032.1 AIS 62320.1 Reply nerd has power 5/4/2025 23 and 27 seconds AM. Thank you for the thorough and powerful analysis. I think you successfully dismissed all possible routes of its natural occurrence. However, they can always fall back to say that there might be a perfectly identical furin cleavage site in a bat virus out there that we just haven't discovered yet. Don't be surprised if one of the Chinese research labs will soon publish such a sequence. The burden is definitely heavier on our side, but it's becoming more apparent. The truth will come out. Ichirius FASCN 5/5/2023 55 and 23 seconds AM https://www.youtube.com/watch v equals UOJ 0K. Someone in this have just pointed out a study that confirmed that neither furin sites nor inserts in the S1-S2 junction exist within any coronavirus spike proteins with sequence homology to SARS-CoV-2 higher than 40%, confirming the finding that such a site is likely not tolerated in wild animals. Without possibility of furin site persistence in the wild after an alleged recombination, it becomes exponentially unlikely that the single virus, foolish enough to get this site or inserts at this location in a wild animal, to just jump to humans in the exact same time before it gets eliminated. And even if this do happen, the lack of a viable RBD within bat caves that constitutes in vivo human infections, let alone human-human transmissible ones that is necessary for persistence of the hypothetical precursor in the human population, even after a furin insert, prevent any possible spillovers of this potential virus to the human population, that is, unless cell culture were involved in its passage, so the potential infection is not immediately eliminated by a human, animal-like immune system. However, with cell culture passage, this will be a clear lab-based scenario. Nerd has power 5/5/2025 19 and 24 seconds AM. Thank you for posting this YouTube video. I listened to the whole thing. It's wonderful. I apparently agree with you and Chris in this video that the natural occurrence of the furin cleavage site is impossible. What I did not appreciate in full earlier was that all the viruses containing a similar, no one has the exact, sequence are less than 40% identical to SARS-CoV-2. That makes the chance of such a site arising from natural recombination close to zero. It's a great finding, of course, that family tree, portraying SARS-CoV-2 being the one in that half of the branch that has a furin cleavage site, is also very powerful, better than what words can describe. Overall, the claim that this furin cleavage site is a result of lab manipulation is becoming rock solid. Arnius 5/3/2027 47 and 38 seconds PM. Someone kindly reminds me that such co-infection experiments have already taken place in immunocompromised bat cell lines by Zhengli, so a recombination during cell passage may also be a plausible origin of the furin site, in addition to deliberate insertion. Smoking article, https://www.nlm.nih.gov/pmc/articles/pmc6178081/2018. We believe that future studies should investigate co-infections in specific bat cell lines using a coronavirus similar to RaTG13 and the relevant orthoviruses from which it will be possible to reveal more of the underlying basis of heterologous coronavirus recombination. Co-infection may be unnecessary in this case though, as chimeric spike proteins with the SARS, MERS RBD and the C-terminus gene, bearing the sequence claimed to be the source of the furin site insert, derived from the very benign coronavirus spike protein, were already patented by Ralph Baric in 2015. Smoking patent, https://patentimages.storage.googlebus.com/e9/b2/98/15d4808 f87c9/wo20151433335a1.pdf. If someone decided to perform cell or animal passage of a spike protein, constructed according to the patent, within lab condition, where polybasic cleavage site inserts are tolerated for influenza viruses. The site could then arise from an intragenomic recombination event and be easily tolerated within the cell lines or intentionally inoculated lab animals, where it manifests as an increase in pathogenicity. Bad in wild animals, as this will likely either kill the host and destroy the virus prior to transmission, or separate the S1 and S2 and deactivate the virus itself against a wild animal immune system. Increase of pathogenicity that would be then immediately recognized as a potential bioweapon. Reply nerd has power 5/4/2025 39 and 12 seconds am completely possible. They could introduce it in several different ways and animal passage might very likely be involved. The method that was actually used may only be revealed by the ones who did it. The literature, patent evidence, if you dig, clearly says that the techniques and knowledge are all out there for someone to create, conveniently, a BIOWEAPON equivalent virus. Vienna Cages 5/4/2020 10:57 and 40 seconds PM. I have seen bad comments on your article. Could you also include an alignment of BAT and SARS coronaviruses to show that this protein is indeed highly variable, even in bats, in your article? SARS_CoV-2. ZC45/ZXC21, RaTG13, BAT and SARS sequences provided below. Greater than Wuhan who 1_e greater than ZC45 greater than greater than RaTG13 mist greater than bat apo 40581.1 mist greater than RSSHCO14 mist greater than SC2018 mist greater than bat NP_82885.4.1 miss greater than SARS_GDO1 miss greater than BTRS Betakov/Hub 2013 mist greater than AA_SARS_Exxon1 mist greater than AA_BM4831/BGR/2008 mist greater than AA_SARS_TWGD1 mist greater than AA_SARS_Sino111 miss Reply nerd has power 5/5/2025 24 and 27 seconds am. I certainly can. Thank you for providing these sequences. I don't think I get to update this article, but I can update the version here by adding an amendment. I will leave a comment on it and direct people to check it out on this blog. I hopefully will get it done by the end of tomorrow. Thanks again. Reply Kathy 5/6/2023 25 and 27 seconds am. I have a question. The furin cleavage site sequence is inserted in SARS-CoV-2 in a way that produces a split of the codon for serine in the pangolin sequence MP789 and RaTG13. Please see Fig.1 here. https://www.researchgate.net/publication/340924249_is_considering_a_genetic manipulation_origin_for_SARS-CoV-2 a_conspiracy_theory_that_must_be_censored/figures I know that you consider MP789 and RaTG13 not real, but could this insertion prove that the furin sequence was artificially inserted? I am wondering if natural recombination could result in such split. All the people I have asked so far do not know. Reply Ferox TD Jackinson 5/6/2024 45 and 26 seconds AM. It may be that the insert was made in that way. Side-directed mutagenesis experiments are very conservative about the number of nucleotides they can insert, delete, and would normally be designed in such way that it minimizes the change to the original genome while achieving the goal of the operation, making the result look as natural as it can. So if the one who made the insert found out that by splitting the serine codon one can minimize the overall change toward the entire genome and make it look more natural than just inserting in frame, then it will be such an insert that ended up being chosen. Also, it's unclear that the insert was actually out of frame, as https://www.youtube.com/watch v=uajcub0k pointed out. The insert can also be completely normal and in frame, if a silent mutation was ended up being introduced into the overall sequence at the third position of the S679 codon during the subsequent optimization process, inserting, replacing 13 nucleotides in total, which is likely the case since the new silent mutations introduced, considering the overall difference from RaTG13 greater than SARS-CoV-2, was quite uniform across this region, indicative of a round of optimization after insertion. It may also be a distraction, should they decide to orchestrate the insertion, substitution in such a way that it would appear out of frame by +1, as this would make it look more natural. This may be of significant consideration when designing a bioweapon without leaving a trace if they find out that they can shift the insert by +1 while preserving the overall sequence. They will surely do it in that way to minimize trace. 12 nucleotides are not that hard to design in this way. In fact, due to S679's high variability, should the +1 out of frame insert be natural, then that particular serine will unlikely be preserved, as the first nucleotide, not in frame to the PRRA, have a 50% chance of changing it to an arginine, which will make the furin site canonical, repair, 2 cuts instead of just 1, and dramatically increase the infectivity than even the current PRRA. So the only reason for such a choice is because that the entire sequence was first laid out in amino acids, then back translated to nucleotides of which the S greater than R mutation will not be considered when designing the amino acid sequence alone. Remember that neither RaTG13 nor MP789 were independently sequenced other than by their original publisher, and both of them were likely fabricated. So the RaTG13 and MP789 sequences themselves may well be made in such a way that it make the insert looks out of frame, hiding the traces of artificial insertion. https://zenodo.org/record/3786451 #xrcahoy reply Ferox Jackinson 5/6/2025 30 and 56 seconds AM. Looked up the codon table and the +1 insert is very easy to design. The codon for alanine can have any nucleotide at the third position. So just keep the third position of the original S679 at the last 1 BP of the PRRA, so leave it unchanged and save 1 nucleotide on your primer. The codon for serine TCA/TCT can also have any nucleotide at the third location and it's not in frame with the PRRA, so just change it to anything else. Sorry for the prior arginine claim, but it demonstrates that it's very easy to design the insert in such a way that it would appear +1 out of frame and look more natural. Primers for side-directed mutagenesis are very expensive, and a thorough consideration for nucleotide design must have taken place prior to performing such an insertion. Depending on techniques used, placing the insertion at frame +1 may actually reduce the hash of nucleotides needed to be designed, synthesized to 11 instead of 12, by reusing the end of the reverse primer, shifting it by -1, which is unlikely to have slipped past the designer's eyes when every extra nucleotide count in such experiments. It may even look more natural if a template that may form such a sequence was already recorded in their databases. Random 8 mers are not that hard to hunt down from GenBank, especially if they can fit the core NCC and CG and CG and GC into some virus of bat origin, no matter how strange or out of frame it may be on the source. 28 equals 65536. A suitable candidate could be found once in every 65,536 nucleotides of random DNA. Both are in the PRRA. Insert uses the codon that can have any nucleotide at the third, or wobble position, CGG and that is not by accident. So does the split serine codon. It reduces the range when needed to search for a natural candidate down by as much as 2 times 2 times 4 times 4 equals 64 times, making a cover-up much more easier, especially since this is a bioweapon that needs to be covered up. And it's not by accident that such a choice reduced the total number of defined nucleotides within this sequence to the absolute minimum. It was designed as such, to both save cost for oligonucleotide synthesis, to minimize overall changes to the genome, and to aid in covering up the bioweapon. The bottom line is that all such nucleotide changing experiments are always carefully designed nucleotide by nucleotide because oligonucleotide synthesis costs far more than computational screening, design of the sequences themselves. Modern tools have made optimizing the required changes cost next to nothing, while oligonucleotide synthesis still cost a lot and still require weeks to complete. Therefore, even a single nucleotide reduction in the length of sequence they needed to synthesize, which saves a fortune, matters enough to justify putting the entire insert +1 out of frame, which costs next to nothing, especially if such a design choice makes covering up the traces much more easier, which is one of the uttermost concern for designing a bioweapon. RaTG13 5/6/2025 42 and 26 seconds AM 48 equals 65536. Kathy 5/6/2027 52 and 31 seconds AM. Thank you very much for checking this and the links. I think that here https://www.youtube.com/watch V equals UOJ0K. At 1931 they did just a translation of the amino acid PRRA to show the nucleotide sequence of the furin site. My alignment of SARS-CoV-2 and RaTG13 is quite different, and also here at a first look you think that it is frame, but you can see the shift checking the codons. The real sequence inserted is CTCCTCGGCGGG and not TGG as they show. Anyway, for the rest I liked very much. Mostly the comments about Anderson and CO. I agree that this sequence must have been designed to preserve as much as possible the original amino acid sequence. The change in the codon is not visible at a first look. Nerd had power 5/6/2020 12:39 and 26 seconds PM. Thank you for the analysis and explanation. I did not get to read the original article, but I don't think there is anything that you did not cover. Smile. The YouTube video was excellent. It made it so crystal clear that the furin cleavage site was not out of natural evolution. RaTG13 5/7/2025 49 and 54 seconds AM. Thank you for your analysis. Technically the insert could be either +1 or +2 out of frame, or as a 12nt in frame insertion +1 silent mutation. With the +2 insert, however, it would make the needed primer 2nt shorter than the in-frame 12, by shifting the reverse primer by -2. Reducing the total absolute extra length need for synthesis to 10, unlikely to have slipped past the eyes of the designer, software when designing the insert, primers. Also, if the insert were indeed +2 and is natural, then there will be an extremely high chance, 11 out of 12, that the serine will not be preserved. It may turn into F, Y, L, C or W, of which L is known to appear on the S1-S2 junction and was the go-to for most beta coronaviruses of lineage B. Technically, whether the insert was +1 or +2 was simply the result of the kind of algorithm you uses for alignment. It depends on the seed sequence that were used in this kind of analysis. Both +1 and +2 inserts are equally valid for a 12nt insert, and a 12nt in-frame insert with a silent mutation at the wobble position of the S679 codon is still the most likely scenario. With a +2 insert, however, It would likely save one extra nucleotide on the primers used and not change the total number of defined nucleotides that is needed to search for a cover-up, so maybe it was what that was used in the final design decision. However, with the SUR and Alabama codon both having C at the second position, both a +1 and +2 primer design will be equally valid and will appear identical on the final sequence. There will be no distinctions. And a +1 primer is still the most likely scenario for the insertion, since it's easier to design. Also, since the first 1 or 2 int of the 12 int insert are both orphaned on GenBank, the actual case for primer design may still be +1 instead of +2. As that will be the insert that is most similar to a sequence that is found on GenBank, instead of the +2 one. However, since the +2 insert costs 1 int less for oligonucleotide synthesis than the +1 one, it may be chosen due to economical reasons once they figured out that the cost of the +1 design could be further reduced by shifting the frame by a further +1 nucleotide on synthesis while preserving the original destination sequence. However, since either design will end up with the exact same nucleotide sequence on the spur junction, we may never know which was actually chosen. As both S679 and A683 have C on the second position for all codons that preserves the flanking sequence, there are no alternative forms of the +2 insert other than a simple frame shift of the +1 insert by +1 for SPRRA, hence both primer designs are equally valid. Also, even with a +1 insert, you still end up having to make up the first 1 int of the insert by an extremely unlikely insertion. A frame shift after recombination is always lethal, as insertion rates are at a measly 10^7 per site per cycle for even the most unstable retroviruses. https://www.nih.gov/pmc/articles/pmc2537160/pdf/virlo0087029.pdf, and that the recombination and the insertion would have to happen at the exact same cycle on the exact same RNA molecule, with recombination rate of less than 1404.76 that of the substitution rate. The chance of such an insertion to happen at the exact same site as the recombination, which was itself happen less than 121,404.76 equals 0.085 per species per year globally, is less than 1e-7 times 0.085/29,855 2 equals 9.58 times 10^18 times per species per year. Assuming every bat carries its own species of coronavirus, which was order of magnitudes higher than what may actually be since there were never observation of greater than 30 species of coronaviruses per cave, caves that hosts 100 to 3,000 bats each, and all the bats are allowed to recombine with the one species that had this exact sequence, the smallest bat weight still at 10 grams and the total mass of wild mammals being 3.8 e plus 7 tons, and let's say all of these were bats, which was obviously not the case. It would still take at least 26,841.63 years for such an event to happen in nature for once. And we know that furin sites were not tolerated in any coronaviruses that had a spikes protein gene sequence homology larger than 40% with SARS-CoV-2, meaning that such a site can never survive in a bat even if it could form. It would have to then enter humans at the exact same cycle as it was formed, or else it will be eliminated. As the closest coronavirus to SARS-CoV-2, RaTG13, was allegedly first obtained in 2013 and does not have a furin site, this leaves the total time window for such an opportunity being at most 7 years, where an emergent site of this strain could enter humans. 726,841.63 equals 13,834.519. This is the chance that the furin site found in SARS-CoV-2, so far being the only example, species, of its clade, being the result of a natural recombination event, even assuming such recombination could happen in the first place. In the other way around, the chance of the furin site insert within the S1-S2 junction of S Reply Ferox TD Jackinson 5/7/2026 02 and 41 seconds AM. Protein being of non-natural origin is more than 3,834, or more than 99.9739%, or, spoken in the other way, it is 3,833.519 times more likely that the PRRA furin site insert of SARS-CoV-2 was the result of purposeful manipulation, instead of being the result of natural recombination. Nas Sinks 5/6/2024 01 and 58 seconds AM. It seems that a lot of debate was going on a short 370 BP partial RDRP sequence known as RaTG13, claiming that it was the first sample of RATG13. However, this does not remove any of the questions surrounding RATG13. First, if there was already RaTG13, why they did not recognize and publish the RBD. This will be a proof that the rest of RATG13 was fabricated from the small sequence. Second, assume that RaTG13 is indeed complete and is RATG13. Then it would be obvious that SARS-CoV-2 was made from it, as pointed out by Leonard D. Allens, and your more thorough analysis on the identicality of EH and unnaturally low sense, silent mutation rates of S2, out of SARS-CoV-2 and RATG13, only one could be natural. Reply Nerd has power 5/6/2020 12:40 and 28 seconds PM exactly. Reply RV 5/7/2020 12:10 and 59 seconds PM. I find your hypothesis very compelling, and I also find an article arguing the opposite very compelling. What do you think? You both argue your cases very well, and as a layman I don't know who is right. I hope you will look at it and consider a rebuttal. http://virological.org/t/tackling rumors of a suspicious origin of nCoV 2019/384. Reply Alex 5/7/2027 02 and 7 seconds PM. Siviana Curtis's comment on the takedown of that hypothesis. Also, Canine is a Guangdong strain while RATG13 is a Yunnan strain. They are geographically too distant to be seen infecting the same cell of any animals, bats included, except in labs where co-infection experiments were performed in bat cell lines. https://www.ncbi.nih.gov/pmc/articles/pmc6178081/2018. We believe that future studies should investigate co-infections in specific bat cell lines using a coronavirus similar to RoBAT-CoV-9 and the relevant orthoviruses from which it will be possible to reveal more of the underlying basis of heterologous coronavirus recombination. Also see Ferox TD Jackinson's comments on why such an insert was ended up being chosen. Remember that this is a bioweapon and it needs cover-up. The choice both eases cover-up, is more economical in term of oligonucleotide synthesis, and is very easy to design. Reply in M5/7/2021 26 and 8 seconds PM. Hopefully you have seen this. https://www.zerohedge.com/health/database Wuhan's Batwoman altered 48 hours COVID-19 samples ordered destroyed. Reply Erikaja 5/7/2021 58 PM. Amazing research. Please, try to publish in a peer-reviewed journal for scientists to see. Reply Brian 5/7/2022 10 and 6 seconds PM. One thing that really throws off estimations of similarity between RATG13 and SARS-CoV-2 is the weird mutation pattern. Almost all the S and Ps are C less than, greater than T or less than, greater than G changes. This is not the mutation profile of replication errors. A recent article makes a pretty good case that this could be the result of demodation by host cell apobac or ADAR proteins. https://www.futuremedicine.com/doi/full/tin.2217/FVL 2020 Reply Arjun 5/7/2025 41 and 34 seconds PM. Technically, this will not affect the mutation rate analysis, as the same holds true for ZC45/ZCX21 and the rest of RATG13/CoV2. This nonsense substitution rate data actually accounts for all possible RNA modification systems within host cells, as S&P polymorphisms like this are just equally as likely to cause AA changes as the normal kind. Reply Exodus B. Freeman 5/7/2029 and 23 seconds PM https://zenodo.org/record/3786451#xrtzjcv6UXC. There is actually more evidence than just the AA sequence that point out that RaTG13 was fabricated. The gene coding for the E protein, a 225BP sequence, is only 2 nt different than ZC45/ZXC21, which is more than 99% identical on the nucleotide level, while the entire genome is at most 89% similar to each other. The most conservative estimate for this to be kept with the divergence between ZC45/ZXC21 and RaTG13, was estimated to be 1 Indiana 19241.66 again when compared against the chance that the E gene being the result of artificial manipulation. Reply John 17175/7/2022 and 27 seconds PM. OK, silly question, can you help me reproduce the sense nonsense graph? I'm not getting the same results. I don't get the flat line for nonsense mutations. I perform the alignment with this. https://www.hiv.laml.gov/content/sequence/codon/align/codonline.html. And I downloaded alignment in crystal format and pasted it into Snap. https://www.hiv.laml.gov/content/sequence/snap/snap.html. My understanding is the spike protein for SARS-CoV-2 is from 21,563 to 25,384. https://www.nkpi.nlam.nih.gov/nk/nc_045512.2 report equals FASTA and from equals 21563 and 2 equals 25384. And for RaTG13 it's from 21,545 to 25,354. https://www.nkpi.nlam.nih.gov/nk/mn996532 from equals 21545 and 2 equals 25354 and report equals FASTA. I don't get the same flat line for nonsense mutations. Any help? Reply exit 5/7/2026 hours and 37 seconds PM. Maybe you accidentally made the alignment out of frame. Look at the assembly and locate the CDs for the S gene. Make sure you start with August. Your sequence may be misaligned. Reply Mitch 5/7/2023 29 and 24 seconds PM. While I appreciate your efforts, I agree with those who have pointed out that blog publishing is probably not the first choice of those who would like to have their information fully vetted by experts in the field. I'm sure there are ways that your information could be submitted anonymously to journals by yourself or perhaps some of the commenters here. Presumably, the journal's peer review process would then expose any flaws in your arguments, so that those who are not experts could have more confidence in your conclusions, or see that other experts lacked such confidence. It would be great to know either that you have submitted your allegations to journals, or to have some explanation of why you don't think that would be appropriate. Thank you. Reply Suresh Kanarian link 5/7/2025 and 44 seconds PM. I ran your analysis of SARS-CoV-2 with RaTG13 by downloading a FASTA alignment file mn99653.1xnc_045512.2.town from NCBI virus and loading it on Snap. I got a slightly different curve. I was wondering if I could send it to you. Reply now link 5/7/2025 18 and 37 seconds PM. This pseudo-scientific evidence have no value, or maybe for Reddit or conspiracy theory fans. Reply fight against CCP 5/7/2025 35 and 31 seconds PM. CCP dog has finally arrived. Why cannot you just disprove it? barking around only shows your weakness. Reply Kathy 5/7/2020 10:36 and 23 seconds PM. Articles that clearly state an artificial origin for SARS-CoV-2 do not have a chance to be published. There is a huge censorship on the topic. What else we have that to make preprints and meet on these platforms? I am grateful that they exist. David Link 5/7/2020 7:51 and 55 seconds PM. I am no native English speaker. An alternative view on it. Very impressive article and comments. I thought I was intelligent, but you guys put me in my place, at least in biology. I was suspicious about the way they said it was from nature in the first place, because it break out where the only lab is of mainland China and where they do research with this kind of virus. Also patient 0 not found on market, which plays role in nature speculation. I think there were lots of infections on market because a lot of people come together there, just that. If objective mind, the researchers should lower the odds of natural occurring already a bit on that. But I often see that people have bias against a possible truth they don't like. Also scientists. When there is social research with different gender, race for example, and they don't like the result, they come with very long explanation of the least controversial possible explanation they can find. When it is 99,999% chance from lab and you bring evidence which makes it 99,999% from lab, they would hold on to nature version. I saw some bias against BIOWEAPON in myself some time ago. When I realized humans are capable of nuclear weapons, I changed my mind and not longer saw accident as 99% the case. Some think it is bad if it comes out it is from the lab. But if it does not come out, I think is way worse. Then you can't learn and it is waiting for the next danger it will bring. Also, I read somewhere that when a virus is very widespread, a vaccine will lead to fast survival of the fittest of the virus, and it makes kind of sense to me, just as that when a virus is too strong it will be selected against. The opposite is also true. If this happens also with flu, it would be much slower because there are much less people infected, so less mutations. But some say it is noticeable for flu already. When a vaccine gives 100% protection it is safe, but when it is relatively poor effective like flu vaccine and very widespread virus it is dangerous, I think. Also it takes a lot of time to vaccine all people, which gives virus more time for strongest versions to survive. Reply Anonymous needed 5/7/2020 11:51 and 44 seconds PM. Can someone do an in silico analysis of the role of the proline in the PRRA insert? What happens when this is removed or substituted with alanine? Asking because this may kink the secondary structure and increase solvent and protease exposure. Also regarding the canine RaTG13 discussion, apart from the geographic concerns, my understanding is that canine is from a large fruit bat while RaTG13 is supposedly from a horseshoe bat, so very different niches and encounter recombination is unlikely. Also, can someone reflect on CpG representation in this virus compared to SARS and other coronaviruses? The more suppressed CpG is, the less innate immune sensing by ZAP there is, which could account for the very prolonged incubation period and asymptomatic carriers. Any modulations in RNA motifs pertinent to the innate immune system between SARS-CoV-2 and SARS-MERS should be exhaustively examined, because this is the crucial aspect that has allowed the spreading, the evasion of interferons and other intracellular mechanisms of resistance. Finally, any data on bat cells or in vivo bat models of the virus? I have to wonder if the virus can even sustainably infect bats, or causes a very harsh disease that would obviously be incompatible with this being the natural host. This is worth looking into. Reply Malcolm 5/8/2021 03 and 1 second AM Re. RaTG13 is fake. The RaTG13S2 subunit has a section with 84 synonymous nucleotide differences with SARS-CoV-2 without a single non-synonymous difference, over a span of 541 amino acids. The probability of this occurring by chance in related genomes, based on the 5:1 ratio, is 1 in 5 million. This is strong evidence that RaTG13 only exists on paper. Reply Malcolm 5/8/2025 30 and 56 seconds AM calculations if anyone is interested. The 1623 nucleotides downstream from the RaTG13 furin cleavage insert contain 84 synchronous differences with SARS-CoV-2 and 0 non-synchronous differences. Based on the expected synchronous to non-synchronous ratio of 5:1, the probability of any difference being a synchronous difference is 106 by 5 equals 0.83333 or 83.33%. So the probability of all 84 differences all being synchronous differences is 0.83333 to the power of 84. I.e.0.83333 by 0.83333 by 0.83333 etc. Equals 2.2324 to the power of minus 7 equals 0.000000222324, which equals approximately 1 in 5 million chance. Reply, leave a reply.
Alright, so I think we've covered them all the comments as well. And then I'll take a look at the YouTube videos. The chat remarks. If there's anything newer. Alright, I will check these other videos. Tony has sent some links. I had fallen asleep during the reading. Physicians speak out against unlawful lockdown and sinister injections. Demon hunters. And 85 likes, 0 dislikes. That's perhaps an interesting video. Oh, Forum for Democracy is live. So for now, this is the whole video. I'd have to check it myself again to see if it's really undeniable evidence, undeniable proof that shows that this COVID-19 is a designer virus, and that would mean that the older articles were wrong. The older articles about SARS coronavirus were wrong. People that denied claim that it's a bioweapon, basically. I have my ventilator on, it's quite warm already. So that's it for now. Thank you all for watching. If you think this is important, you can share it on your timeline. Thank you all for your shares, especially for your likes and subscribes. And if it is a bioweapon, of course, then the appropriate action must be taken to handle this with gloves, basically, so that the people of planet Earth can be saved from these people that want to reduce the global population. So yeah, thank you all for watching. Please tune in next time on Perfect Society. It's a mathematical shape. I was looking for something similar to what we see in the Superman movie, the first Superman with these crystals and stuff. So I want to keep it narrowed down to these articles for this broadcast, and perhaps in the next one I will check the information Tony has put in the links. You can all click for yourselves on these videos. Peanut butter. And kiss for single ladies who would like one. And see you all next time on Perfect Society. So I'm not going to give an opinion about whether I think it's fake or not, and what scientists think is more important. So, and I haven't seen many people denying the claims made by the person that made these wonderful scientific reviews or articles. So that's why many people think it could be true, I think. But it is quite scientific, so they're not likely to say, oh yeah, this is absolutely true. It's kind of hard for them to figure out if that could be true and why it would be true, etc. So your comments are also welcome. You can always Skype Prologic999 if they want to ask something. Sometimes I have my Skype off, and sometimes it doesn't start with Windows. Then people could also mail trysomethingvegetarian@gmail.com. So that's it for now. Tune in next time, check my other videos. I'm still waking up, I've been sleeping. And see you next time on Perfect Society. Peace out.